His next few starts are going to be the key, not only for him, but for his career, because unfortunately, a lot of people only remember how you finish your career.
And as you heard Kevin Kennedy, they are really counting on him for that stretch run. Now, the Rangers have a lot of offensive firepower, even without Jose Canseco. Rafael Palmeiro hitting over 300, 19 homers. Dean Palmer, third base, 21 home runs for this young guy. And, of course, one of the great players in the game today, 23 years old, 27 homers, Juan Gonzalez. This is a homer he hit just last Tuesday, more than halfway up into the stands here at Arlington Stadium. And as any home run hitter can tell you, that is quite a shot.
Well, John, when I think of Juan Gonzalez, I think of the least publicized superstar in baseball. I mean, this guy led the league in home runs last year. A lot of people don't even know who he is. And not only that, he's getting better each year. This year, he's hitting over 330, still hitting home runs, and potentially he's going to be one of the greatest players ever.
All right. Now, the Toronto Blue Jays, as you well know, have a great amount of talent. They had 7 men on the American League All-Star team. Guys like Paul Molitor, Devon White, Joe Carter, and company. We talked to Joe Carter.
I get lost in the shuffle because I've got a guy that's a future Hall of Famer in front of me, and I got Roy Hobbs behind me hitting 400.
Yeah, Roy Hobbs. He means the natural. John Olerud, in fact, he's hitting 402. And, Joe, when you see that swing, you have to think of a great natural talent. He's got it all.
Well, when I see John Olerud, I think of Billy Williams, a great, sweet swing. And John Olerud has that. Not too many moving parts. Strides, swings the bat. Real good hitter. And if you're the hitting instructor for John Olerud, all you ask him each day is, how do you feel?
All right. So Olerud with 3 hits last night, 402 for the season, and he will be going against the legend, Nolan Ryan, here tonight. Should be quite a duel. Ryan out before the ball game, taking his warm-up. So we'll be watching the 46-year-old Ryan going tonight for the Texas Rangers. He'll be opposed by Juan Guzman of the Blue Jays. ESPN's presentation of Sunday Night Baseball. From Arlington Stadium, blue skies overhead. It's a real hot one, and the wind blowing in off the prairie from right field. The Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers. And there's Cito Gaston, the manager of the world champion Blue Jays, and also the American League All-Star team, a native of Texas. He grew up down in San Antonio. The batting order for Cito Gaston's Jays. It will be Devon White leading it off in center field. Roberto Alomar at second base, one of the best around. Paul Molitor, now past 2,400 hits. Joe Carter in right field. John Olerud, the DH tonight, hitting 402. Tony Fernandez at short, batting 6th. Ed Sprague, very reliable RBI man, hitting 7th. Pat Borders, he had the game-winning home run just last night. And Turner Ward is in left field, hitting 9th for the Jays. And on the mound, of course, Nolan Ryan, only his 5th outing of the year, his 2nd since coming back from the disabled list.
John, Nolan Ryan throws a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. And we know that his fastball is a great fastball, curveball is a very good curveball, but his changeup has made him very effective the last few years.
Devon White, one of the 7 Blue Jays in the All-Star game. A foul ball, strike 1. The place is all sold out. This was announced as a sellout a few days ago. Devon White, 3 hits in 33 lifetime at-bats against Nolan Ryan. There's that curveball, and that misses too high.
John, if you take a look at the Blue Jays lineup, you will think that only Joe Carter has had some success against Nolan Ryan, and if he doesn't get the job done, who's going to get it done?
Running fastball outside, 2-1. In fact, Ryan's most recent no-hitter, there's Joe Carter, due up 3rd in the inning. His most recent no-hitter was against the Toronto Blue Jays a couple of years back. His 7th lifetime no-hitter. It was May the 1st in this ballpark. And the count goes to 3-1. Now, Joe, some of the things to watch for with Ryan tonight. In fact, kind of walking around now, and I wonder if everything's all right with him right now.
Well, Nolan takes a lot of time in between pitches. He doesn't usually walk all the way around the mound, but he does take a lot of time between pitches. Now he's looking into the dugout, so maybe something is bothering him.
There's Claude Osteen, the pitching coach of the Rangers. Louis Upshaw on the right. And a leadoff walk to Devon White. One thing that when Ryan was doing his rehab work with former pitching coach Tom House, who is still in the Rangers organization. And Tom House told Cloud Osteen, he said, hey, he's not going to be able to handle those 30 and 40 pitch innings. And of course, Nolan Ryan's had many of those over the years.
There's Claude Osteen. He is the pitching coach. Willie Upshaw, the hitting instructor, standing next to him.
Roberto Alomar, one of the heroes of the All-Star game, hit a home run to fuel the American League comeback in that game, which they eventually went on to win. And Alomar, just one of the great players in the game. Devon White, a man who will steal a base if you give him a chance. He has 21 steals and has been caught only 3 times. Rafael Palmeiro on the bag with him over there. And that's a base hit to center field for Alomar. White will stop at second as Reedus throws in behind him to Doug Strange.
Batting third, number
now, the first 5 hitters in this Toronto batting order are among the most potent fivesomes in anybody's lineup. I mean, guys like White, Alomar, Molitor, Carter, and Olerud, they were all on the All-Star team. They can all hit. And these first 3 in particular, White, Alomar, and Molitor, are very fast. And, of course, Paul Molitor's been one of the best pure hitters in the game these last 15 years. And you see his numbers now. 321, 11 homers, 59 batted in. This is not such a strange sight to see Molitor, who hits third, coming up with a couple of men on. Knocking the mask of the catcher, Petrali, right off with that foul ball, 0-1.
One of the things that you have to have in your third place hitter is for him to be able to run a little bit, to stay out of double plays in situations like this. I mean, if he puts the ball in play and does not hit into a double play, obviously you get a runner over to third with less than 2 outs, which can create a big inning for you.
Joe Carter on deck. Crowd very, very quiet. Their hero, Nolan Ryan, in trouble right away. So the count, 1 ball, 1 strike to Paul Molitor. See, 98 degrees is right now the temperature. The chance of rain, 30%. And the wind is from 10 to 15 miles an hour right in from right field. That is the prevailing wind here at Arlington Stadium. And that changeup, and that's low. 2-1.
And Nolan Ryan is not, ecstatic over the pitch calling of Mike Riley. He's really kind of walking and looking in a lot at the umpire after a few pitches. They seem to be out of the strike zone as far as I'm concerned, but he seems to be thinking that some of them are getting the corners.
That is called a strike.
Well, now I believe that Molitor is going to question Riley on that pitch.
Well, he's looking back at him there for a moment.
This is a fastball, and it appears to be up and in. And you can see that Petrali pulled the ball back over the plate.
Cito Gaston looking on from the third base side dugout. White at second, Alomar at first, nobody out. Almost the same pitch there. Call the ball.
Well, it's very difficult, John, to umpire for people like Nolan Ryan, the great pitchers in the game, because you do not want to take anything from them, yet and still you not want to give them anything. And it's a thin line there between giving them the edge and calling pitches that are just off the corners. So more difficult, I believe, to umpire for a guy like Nolan Ryan than, say, Juan Guzman.
Well, the runners could well be going now. 3 balls, 2 strikes with nobody out, and both of them are base stealers. White at second, Alomar at first. Now Petrali goes out to talk to Nolan Ryan.
Well, let's take a look at the Texas Rangers defense. They have a couple of problem spots. Reedus in center field is playing center field today. Holtz is out. And Reedus is not normally a center fielder. He's had knee problems. Dean Palmer's turned into a very good defensive third baseman. Occasionally has problems with his throws, but has turned into a very good defensive third baseman otherwise. I think I would send the runners because Nolan Ryan has such a high leg kick, you can get a good jump. We'll see if Devon White is going on the pitch.
There they go. The ball is swung on and fouled back and out of play. Still 3-2. The runners will have to go back.
A lot of times you do not run with a strikeout pitcher because you figure, well, he might strike the hitter out. But because he has such a high leg kick and he gives you the opportunity to run, I think you should still take advantage of it because if they strike the hitter out, you still may be able to steal third base. So I think it's a good play by Cito.
Paul Molitor, he's faced Ryan a number of times over the years. 13 hits and 40 at-bats against him, a .325 average. But all of his hits against Ryan have been singles. He's never had an extra base hit against him. White and Alomar ready to run. There they go. And that one is fouled back and out of play.
By putting the runners in motion, you create two holes. One, the third baseman, Dean Palmer, has to go over and cover third, so that creates a little hole on the left side. And if they decide to cover second, because sometimes you go after the trail runner, you're creating another hole. See, I would not go to second base on the throw. I would either get the runner at third or let them both steal, simply because you do not want to create two holes on the infield.
Well, they wanted Ryan to stay away from those 30 and 40 pitch innings. This will be his 14th pitch of this inning right now. White and Alomar the runners. Pickoff play at second base with the shortstop Diaz coming in from behind White. Timing was not perfect on that. There's Joe Carter, the big RBI man, on deck. Carter, 75 RBIs this year. You see the big crowd here at Arlington Stadium. But again, you can hear they are very quiet. The runners go. Molitor pops it up. It's a windy day. Palmeiro, look out, he makes the catch. For out number one. That brings up Joe Carter. We talked to him about facing Nolan Ryan. What's it like?
It's one of the best challenges you'll ever have in baseball, to go out there and to face a legend in his own time, in our time, to go out there and face one of the best, probably the best pitcher in baseball. It's always a challenge for me to face the best, and he's one of the best. I'm not too excited about facing that first at-bat because about 7:05, it's a little bit tough to see up there, and you don't want to get in the way of too many breaking balls and fastballs.
Yeah, and that center field background is still lit up in the bright sunshine here in Texas. And there are fans sitting up in those stands out there. They have a little area that's blacked out. You can just barely see the blacked out area there. And then you see the fans sitting up at the top up above that. A lot of white shirts. 2 on, 1 out. The changeup. Check swing. And did he swing? Yes, says Rocky Rowe. Strike one.
I think you see the reason that Nolan Ryan can be very tough on right-handed hitters. You have to look for the fastball because otherwise the ball will go right by you. Carter thinks this is a fastball inside. He tries to check, but no, it's a changeup. So he's way out in front, and he could not stop his swing. Correct call by the umpires.
And that's a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Carter, 18 homers, 75 batted in, but he's not been hitting home runs very often of late. He has only 6 homers in his last 56 games. He has not hit any home runs in nearly a month. June 27th.
Last 21 games to be exact.
Yeah. June 27th was his last one. A ball and a strike. White at second, Alomar at first. Very fast runners. And there's a long high drive deep into left center field. And now he's got one. A 3-run homer for Carter. Gonzalez went back, but it's in amongst the spectators. Number 19 for Carter is 76, 77, and 78 runs batted in. 3-0 Toronto.
Nolan Ryan got the pitch up and out over the plate, and Joe Carter extended his arms and pulled it into the left center field bleachers. This is not where Nolan wanted this pitch to be.
What, D-ball?
See, it's up. Looks like it's right in the middle of the plate, and Carter just drives it out over the left center field wall. Right in the middle of the plate and up.
Now John Olerud, the 400 hitter. And he takes a strike, 0-1.
Olerud has not hit well against Nolan Ryan. He's only had 2 hits in 17 at bats.
Olerud with a high drive. Rita started it. Now he goes back. He's under it. And he makes the grab. Well, he hit that one a long way, but to the wrong part of the ballpark. Joe Carter. You know, this guy, sometimes you go into a season, you say, well, we think this guy will hit 300. We think that guy's going to do this. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Nobody is more consistent at doing what he does than Joe Carter. I mean, every year, this guy, you mark him down for 100 RBIs or more.
It's a fastball right in the middle and up. And Nolan Ryan knows right away that it's gone. He's just hoping that the wind will knock it down, but it does not.
Now Tony Fernandez, 2 down, 3 in. The big curve misses. Fernandez, part of the entourage leaving San Diego, and went to the Mets during the winter. Then the Mets traded him over to the Blue Jays, and he had just had a miserable time at the Mets, but he's hitting .319 with Toronto. Back with his original ball club. And in only 37 games, he's got 2 homers and 23 RBIs. By the way, that home run is the first allowed by Ryan this year in his 5th start of the season.
Well, as I said at the beginning, if the Blue Jays were going to get anything done against Nolan Ryan, it would have to come from Joe Carter, because he's the only one that can hit with power against Nolan Ryan. You don't expect to get 6 or 7 hits in a row against Nolan.
This will be the 22nd pitch now thrown by Ryan in the heat here in the 1st inning. He lays off 3-1 to Fernandez with Ed Sprague on deck.
2 different approaches by pitchers. Last night, Dave Stewart pitched for the Blue Jays, and he tried to pitch very quickly because he didn't want to stand out in the heat too long. Nolan Ryan takes more time, which keeps him out in the heat, and he's throwing a lot of balls this inning, which is going to take a little more out of him.
Yeah, he's now walked 2. And Ed Sprague, the 7th man to bat in the inning, is coming up. By the way, Joe Carter, it's been a slugger's day in the American League. Cecil Fielder drove in his 85th run today. Albert Bell hit 2 more homers to tie Fielder for the RBI lead. He's got 85. Now Carter moves up to 78 into 4th place in the league. Ed Sprague, but look at those RBIs for Sprague. I think that's the important number for him. He's got a chance to drive in 80 to 90 runs this year, hitting 7. World Series hero last year. Crucial home run in Game 2 of the World Series that kind of shocked the Atlanta Braves. Mario Diaz to Strange at second base, and that ends the inning. But 3 runs for Toronto against Nolan Ryan, courtesy of that man, Joe Carter. The Rangers coming up.
When I slide into home, it's like 2 trains colliding. I'm the big train.
All men are created equal. Some just work harder in the preseason.
There is rookie manager Kevin Kennedy of the Texas Rangers. Got his ball club in the pennant race, heading into the dog days of July and August. And his Rangers looking for a win tonight, but they're down by 3. Here's the batting order for the Rangers. Gary Reedus, the veteran, replacing young David Hulse in center. Julio Franco, batting champ just a couple of years ago. Rafael Palmeiro, he's red hot. Juan Gonzalez, he can hit him with the best of them. Dean Palmer, 21 homers, third base. Gino Petralli in place of the All-Star Rodriguez at catcher. Doug Strange at second base, a switch hitter. Dan Peltier in right field, hitting 8th. And Mario Diaz at short, who's had a hot bat for the Rangers. And on the mound for Toronto with a 3-run lead is Juan Guzman. And this guy has been, the last 3 seasons, a very reliable starter for the Blue Jays.
And this is probably his worst season, John. You know, his first couple, he would only lose 1 or 2 games every 10 or 12 starts. He's 7-3. He's given up more hits than innings pitched, so he has struggled a little bit, 4.40 earned run average.
Indeed, this guy has been one of the toughest to hit in the American League since he arrived. A 2.64 ERA last year, 2.99 the year before, and always a hits to innings pitch ratio among the most devastating for a hitter in baseball. Guzman last year, you see Reedus' numbers, pitched 181 innings and allowed only 135 hits. That's a hitter's nightmare. Great stuff. He's got a wicked slider that will look like a forkball, and he throws real hard. Gary Reedus, the veteran, was with Texas last year. Strike one. Guzman pitched one of his best games of the year last Tuesday at Comiskey Park and lost it, ironically. And this year, where he's not pitched that well very often, he lost 2-1. Frank Thomas hit a 2-run homer against him, and that was enough to beat it. There's a slider that misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
John, I'm looking at Devon White in center field, and he is shading his eyes because of the sun directly behind the stadium here. See, he's in the sunshine out there in center field. Tough outfield for these players to play right now. Left, center, and right. A lot of sun out there. You see the sun on the left, center, and in right. And I want to make another point that also makes it very difficult for the umpire behind home plate. So you may see a lot of calls questioned early in the ball game because it is very difficult for him to see.
2-2 now. It's cooling off now, though, Joe.
Yeah, very quickly, right?
Only 98 degrees now. There's that low-lying sun just above the rim of the ballpark. Strike 3 call.
I think that was a pitch that Reedus did not pick up as quickly as he would like. With 2 strikes, you try to wait a little longer. And with this pitch jumping on the outside edge, he just didn't have time to pick it up. See, this pitch is on top of him before he knows it. 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Now Julio Franco, just a couple of years ago, a batting champion in the American League. And that's ball 1. Now Franco had knee problems last year that put him on the shelf most of the year, and he came back this spring and injured the other knee, compensating for the original knee injury. That's called a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Franco's average right at 271, although he's brought it up considerably of late. 11 homers, 47 driven in.
And he's played better of late after a conversation between he and the manager, Kennedy. And he basically told him, you better start playing well or we're going to release you.
They had a confrontation about Franco not hustling at times, particularly on routine ground balls where he would just trot over to first base. And Kennedy said, hey, if you're not going to hustle out everything, then you're not going to be here. We're just going to release you. And they say that he's hustled and he started to hit well. On top of that, 2-2 the count to Julio Franco. This is the final year of his contract. He'd like to have a great push here on the stretch run.
See him wearing a sleeve on his left elbow. He's had problems with his arm, but also a lot of problems the last couple of years. He has a very unusual hitting style, as you can see. He actually points the barrel of the bat towards the pitcher before he swings it. Watch, the barrel of the bat will go directly at the pitcher right there.
Somewhat like Gary Sheffield now with the Florida Marlins. Didn't swing at that one, says Rocky Roll. 3-2.
Very similar, and they do something that is also similar after they start the bat. Neither one of them drop their hands. They stay above the ball, which is a good way to hit. Juan Gonzalez has a similar hitting style. Always keep your hands above the ball. That's one of the things that Jose Morales teaches the Cleveland Indians. They have a lot of good hitters there as well.
Yeah, that's too high, and Franco draws a walk. And that will bring up Rafael Palmeiro with Juan Gonzalez behind him. Coaching for the Texas Rangers, there's Mickey Hatcher, the first base coach. Longtime Dodger, and Dave Oliver is the third base coach for Texas. And here is Rafael Palmeiro. Now this guy, you go back almost 2 months, and he has hit .387 in that time. He was off to his worst start ever, though, before that. .306 for the year. And he has developed that power stroke. 19 homers, 62 batted in. And that's a foul out of play. Now, the Blue Jays in the field with a 3-0 lead.
And they have 2 Gold Glove winners in their lineup. Devon White in center field won the Gold Glove last year. And Roberto Alomar at second base, also a Gold Glove winner. 2 of the best at their positions in the American League.
Palmeiro with a real sweet swing. He gets compared a lot to his former college teammate, Will Clark. And you might even see a little of the Olerud approach in that swing as well. It's a nice, fluid swing.
I think he does he reminds me more of Olerud than he does Will Clark.
And Franco back to the bag. I'm not sure exactly why they're so worried about Franco here with the knee problem.
I think Guzman is upset because he walked him.
Molitor on the bag over there. Big hole on the right side of the infield. So the count is 0-2 now. There is Juan Gonzalez on deck, 23 years of age. Now he is 1 home run behind the leaders in the American League. Both Albert Bell and Ken Griffey Jr. hit their 28th home runs today. Griffey's hit a home run in each of the last 6 games now. The Mariners' record.
Tell you what, John, with his swing, he can hit one each of the next 10 games. I mean, he's got a beautiful stroke. Waits on the ball. He'll just be getting better and better each year also.
0-2 to Palmeiro. That's a base hit in the right center field. Franco will head to third. White's throwing over there. Cut off by Fernandez. And the table is set for Juan Gonzalez, and the crowd reacts.
One of the reasons that Gonzalez has been so successful lately is because of Palmeiro. He has just been on base so often. This is just look at that's a beautiful 2-strike swing. It just reaches out and hits the line drive. He's not trying to do too much with the ball. Your great hitters have great 2-strike swings. Get a look at Nolan Ryan, who's now trailing 3-0.
Well, Joe Carter blasted one against him, and now here's Carter's opposite number, the 23-year-old Juan Gonzalez from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. Already a legendary figure in his hometown, in his home island, his home state. And Gonzalez certainly building a legend here in Texas. He's hit monstrous home runs already. And look at that batting average, .330. Not just a slugger. Check swing on the slider. Ball 1. Gonzalez with 27 homers, 73 batted in. And he was injured earlier this year. He missed 11 games entirely because of an earlier injury. He, of course, was the star of the home run contest the day before the All-Star game in Baltimore. He hit one ball they said would have gone 553 feet if the third deck had not gotten in the way at Camden Yards. There's that. Now, he says it's not a fork ball. It's just one of his sliders, but it sure looks like a fork ball. 1-1 the count to Gonzalez. This guy is big and strong. When Michael Jordan showed up for the home run contest, put on a uniform and then stood with guys like Gonzalez, I mean, he looked like a midget. I mean, this guy is broad in the shoulders, sculpted body, enormous power and strength.
And most of his home runs come because he has such great upper body strength. He basically swings with his upper body.
Palmeiro back to the bag at first. Franco, the runner, at third. 1 out. The Rangers trail 3-0. See how the Blue Jays play him. Pretty much straight away in the outfield. The infield playing into Paul. They came after him with a high, hard one. 1-2 now. Gonzalez 3 for 11 with a home run in the past against Guzman, for whatever that's worth. Think about this guy. We don't know how good he is yet. 23 years old. He had 43 home runs last year when he was 22. He struck him out.
Well, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts from Gonzalez because he is basically a free swinger, although he has been more patient this year. And you expect that. You expect a home run hitter to strike out a few times. This pitch breaks off the plate. It's actually a pretty good pitch because it starts on the outside edge and then just moves away. As John said, that's a breaking ball. Just slides toward the outside part of the plate and off.
Now Dean Palmer comes up, another one of the young Rangers sluggers. Now this guy's only 24 years old, hitting .250 with 21 home runs. And go check your stats in the Tuesday USA Today and Wednesday USA Today. See how many third basemen in baseball have 21 home runs right now. Not many. There's that same pitch, but Palmer takes it for ball one.
They've given a lot of credit to Willie Upshaw, who is the hitting instructor now, that he has helped to make them more patient. You know, they struck out a lot before. Now they're cutting down on their strikeouts, being more patient, getting better pitches to hit.
3-0 Blue Jays. The Rangers with runners at first and third, 2 down. Just missing outside. Guzman thought he had that one. Guzman, who was with the Dodgers and was part of the Mike Sharperson trade going to the Blue Jays, never did well in the minor leagues. And even when they brought him up in the minor leagues a couple of years back, he had not been doing well then. He's got the power. Blew the fastball right past this fastball hitter.
Anytime you can throw a 2-0 fastball by a fastball hitter, you know that you've got some good hop on the fastball. He may not put it in play, but usually they will foul it back, at least get a good piece of it. He threw that one right by him.
He gets a lot of strikeouts, as you can see. Almost 1 per inning. 2-1. Slider. 2-2.
When you watch Guzman and Nolan Ryan, you see very similar types of pitchers in that their fastballs are so good. Anytime they can get the breaking ball near the plate, you will see a lot of hitters chase them because they think of them as being fastballs until they go after the pitch.
Franco at third, Palmeiro at first, ready to go into anything. There goes Palmeiro, and Palmer fouls it back. Now, this is something new with the Rangers this year. Kevin Kennedy's philosophy of managing is to force the action, do a lot of hitting and running, start the runners, even at times where it might be risky because he wants to plant that seed. He says, hey, we will run. You cannot take us for granted.
Well, I think he also helps to make the hitter more disciplined. The hitter will concentrate a little harder on trying to put the ball in play if you hit and run with it.
Palmeiro going again. And this one will get a run home. Franco scores. Palmeiro to second. Palmeiro will get a stolen base. He was running with the pitch. Franco scores on the wild pitch.
No chance for Borders as he tries to block the ball. Bounces in the dirt. I guess he gets a piece of his shin guard because it bounced so far away that Franco comes home easily. By the time that Borders runs it down, no play at the plate.
And it's a 3-2 count to Palmer. Now a base hit could mean bring home another run here. Roberto Alomar bluffing in behind Palmeiro at second. That's the 14th steal for Palmeiro. We were talking about they run more. That is already a career record for him in a season.
He's only been caught twice, so he's been doing a good job getting a good jump.
3-2 the count. Off to the outside. And Guzman wanted that one too. That's his second walk of the inning.
Batting sixth, number 12, catcher Gino Petrali.
This pitch is just a little bit off the outside corner, according to Mike Riley. Our cameras are not directly behind the pitcher, so if that looks to be a little bit more outside than it really is, it's because of the camera angle.
2 on, 2 out. The batter, Gino Petrali. Juan Guzman has thrown 25 pitches in this inning, which is about where Ryan finished his first inning. A lot of pitches in the first inning. 3-1. The Blue Jays with the lead, though. Gino Petrali, a veteran, a switch hitter, and he's hitting .300. Used primarily as a left-handed hitter. He's had 60 at-bats. chew on, chew out. And that's a foul back in amongst the spectators on the third base side. 0-1. Nolan Ryan threw 26 pitches in his first inning. And now Guzman also has thrown 26, but he's still having to throw them here. However, he also has the lead. Guzman, like Ryan, is a guy who throws a lot of pitches in a ball game. This is not unusual for him, which is also why he rarely gets a complete game. Talking about the seventh inning, invariably, he's about finished. Ratrali apparently broke his bat on that one, so he applies the pine tar rag.
John, you may throw a lot of pitches in a place like Candlestick Park or some cooler places. When you're pitching here in Arlington with the temperatures up around 98 plus the humidity, you cannot last long throwing a lot of pitches. It will catch up with you by the fourth or fifth inning.
See, the temperature continues to plummet. One strike to count to Petrali. Palmeiro, the runner at second. Palmer, the runner at first. 3-1. The Blue Jays ahead. Foul ball. 0-2 the count. There's Palmeiro going back to second. And Dean Palmer back to first. The Rangers have won 18 and lost only 7 in their last 25 games, even though they've been without Jose Canseco all that time. Sort of tightened things up, and they played well without him. There's that slider, strike 3 swinging. So he strikes out the side, does Guzman, but he gives up a run. 3-1 Blue Jays after 1.
The sacks are back. The bombs are back. The blitz is back. The NFL is back on ESPN. The Eagles face the Saints in the American Bowl live from Tokyo. They're big, they're green, and they're invading Tokyo. No, it's not Godzilla. It's the Philadelphia Eagles as they butt heads with the hard-hitting New Orleans Saints. Saturday night at 10 Eastern, live on ESPN.
We played 1 inning here in Texas. Toronto 3, the Rangers 1. The 3-run homer by Joe Carter in the first inning. The big blow for the world champion Blue Jays. He hit it against Ryan, and there it is. And Ryan was, as you might expect, none too pleased. As Joe mentioned at the time, he was hoping that maybe the wind would blow it back into the field. Ryan soon discovered to his dismay that the wind was not going to be of any help. Pat Borders leads it off. Base hit. Right over the head of Palmeiro. Borders, the MVP in the World Series last year. And he was MVP like last night when he homered in the 8th inning to break a 1-1 tie. The Blue Jays won. And he starts out with a single against Ryan.
Left fielder Turner Ward.
Ryan starts him off with a fastball. He bails a little bit, but just kind of shoots it to right field, hits it toward the end of the bat, and over the outstretched glove of Palmeiro. Note, Palmeiro has gone 47 consecutive games without an error.
Well, he used to be considered a liability over there defensively. The bunt by Turner Ward. Palmeiro to Strange, moving Borders over to second. Sacrifice well executed by Turner Ward. The platoon left fielders for the Toronto Blue Jays. Coaching for the Jays, there is Bob Baylor over at first base. An original Blue Jay. Nick Leyva is Toronto's third base coach. Brought up from the minor leagues with the serious accident, automobile accident involving Rich Hacker, their third base coach. And we send along all of our best wishes to Rich Hacker down in St. Louis, recovering. Change up, strike 1 swinging by Devon White.
Rich is in the University of St. Louis hospital, recovering. And as you mentioned, we wish him well.
Great baseball man. His accident certainly was very much in the mind of Cito Gaston when Cito went to the All-Star game in Baltimore. Leyva brought up from the Blue Jays minor league system where he'd been an instructor. Devon White walked his first time, starting a 3-run Blue Jays rally. White 3 for 33 against Ryan. Orders at second. Strike 2.
John, I watched Nolan Monday night on ESPN pitching, his first game back. And what I was impressed with that night was his arm speed. He doesn't seem to have the same arm speed tonight. Maybe he will get better, get a little more rhythm, but he doesn't have the same arm speed. And I think that's one of the reasons that he is not throwing his fastball as much in counts when he's behind in the count. Only 6 wins in his last 31 starts with 1 complete game. So he has struggled.
Tried to curve him and missed with it. 2-2 to count.
So I gotta say, when Nolan would get ahead of you and he gets you in a position where he has you looking for off-speed pitches, he could throw the fastball right by you. And on Monday he was throwing 94 miles an hour. Now tonight he's throwing 91, 92. So a little different. You'd say, well, what difference does 3 miles an hour make? It makes a lot of difference on your fastball. A little more pop, but it also makes a lot of difference in your confidence in the fastball.
And we'll get Borders over to third base. Doug Strange to Palmeiro, out number 2, with Alomar coming up. 2 years ago, Ryan pitched his 7th no-hitter. Against the Blue Jays it came, and Alomar was the final out of that game.
Getting your first hit against a guy like Nolan Ryan is not easy. And I had that ball in my house, and that's a big present for me, and I will remember that hit forever. And being in the 7th no-hitter, being the last out, it was something to remember too, because I will never forget that last out.
Although he seems to be more pleased about getting his first major league hit against Ryan than being the final out, the no-hitter. 1 ball and no strikes to Roberto Alomar. Well, this guy just goes about his business. He doesn't hit those 450-foot home runs, but he seems to do everything else. And he has 10 home runs this year, which is already a career record for him. It's a foul down the left field line.
Well, he is a complete player. I mean, he plays defense, runs the bases well, and he's a very dedicated player, meaning he's dedicated to the team's success. And he's a very intelligent player. I really like him. I think, as a second baseman, you can't find a better second baseman than Roberto Alomar.
He's got that baseball savvy as well, and the instincts for it. Understands the game.
I guess that comes from, his father was a player too, Sandy Alomar. I played against him. Yeah.
Well, he had a big game in Baltimore last month. His team was trailing 1-0 in the 9th inning, and then he took over the game. Got a walk, went to second on about an 8-foot wild pitch. Instinctively saying, "Hey, I can make it on this one if I go now." He stole third base, causing them to bring the infield in for Olerud, and then Olerud broke his bat and they got a hit only because the infield was in, and they went on to win the ball game 2-1. Big game against a team that was a contender, and he just took it over. Got the good eye out there. He gets lots of walks, steals bases. Outside for a ball.
I don't think I've ever seen Nolan Ryan throw this many change-ups and curveballs to hitters. He has thrown very few fastballs this inning. 12 pitches, he's thrown 4 fastballs.
That's very few.
Very few.
That's Borders up there at third base, 2 down. He struck him out with his 5th fastball of the inning. That's his first strikeout of the night. 3-1, Toronto. Rangers coming up in the last of the second.
After 26 years of pitching in the majors, I've learned to take care of myself. Like now, when my muscles feel sore, I take Advil. To last as long as I have, you got to stick with what works.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I'm John Miller along with Joe Morgan, your Sunday night telecasters. The Yankees down by 8 today, and they beat California 9-8, and Boston won again. Their 10th in a row. Mo Vaughn hit a grand slam, and this American League East is getting serious.
Well, the good teams are playing good. The top teams are all winning, which puts a lot of pressure on the Blue Jays here tonight.
They need a win to remain in a three-way tie for first place. This is Doug Strange, switch-hitting second baseman. Strike one swinging against Juan Guzman. In that Rangers first inning, they got one run and hit only one ball into play the whole inning. It was a single by Palmeiro. With 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. Now Alomar, swing for first base.
Alomar did something strange there to me, John. He didn't go to the ball. He went towards the outfield. Because as a second baseman, if you don't cut it off quick enough, you're not going to be able to make the play anyway. And watch, see, he's running away from the ball. And then he gets in front of it. You have to run at an angle. He should have been going towards the second base bag. That's the only way you would have had a chance to throw the runner out.
So it's an infield hit for Strange, former Cub. And he's played a lot more than they thought he was going to play this year. He has played well. Strange taking a .267 average into the game. Switch hitter. He's played a lot because Billy Ripken, who was installed as the second baseman, has twice been on the disabled list and is now disabled. Nice pickup by Molitor. They get one at second. Fernandez back to Guzman, not in time. And Peltier robbed of a hit by Paul Molitor.
It's a great play by Molitor because the ball was hit sharply, and he only had time to react. But he got a glove on it and then made a good play going to second base to get the force out. So he's in good fielding position, though. The ball looked like it took a strange hop on him also. It's a nice play. And he throws the ball to the inside to avoid the runner. Really no play for Fernandez, but he threw back to first anyway.
I don't think he should have.
No.
Now Mario Diaz, look at that batting average, .323, a home run, 13 batted in, and that's ball one. Now they picked up Manuel Lee from the Blue Jays. He was a free agent to be their everyday shortstop. They thought with Lee and Ripken up the middle that they wouldn't have the kind of defensive problems they've been having in the past here. Well, both of them have missed most of the season, and Lee in particular, just back from the disabled list now, and still not ready to play every day. Meanwhile, Mario Diaz given a shot, and he has played extremely well, and now they don't want to take his bat out of the lineup. He's had 93 at-bats, hitting .323, and he's played defensively very well. So sometimes a door opens, and a guy turns it into a great opportunity, and that's what Kevin Kennedy wants to do. Next Sunday night now. Sunday night baseball travels out to the West Coast where it'll be a little bit cooler. Juan Gonzalez and his Texas Rangers will take on the former Ranger, Ruben Sierra, and of course Ricky Henderson, who is having a tremendous year for the Athletics. The Rangers and the Athletics from the Oakland Coliseum, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, 7 Central. Next week from Oakland. We'll see you then. John Miller, along with Joe Morgan. Tonight we're in Texas. Rangers trail 3-1. Threw his bat at that one. Fernandez throws him out at first.
You see a lot of hitters throw their bats at the ball on a hit-and-run play because they're trying to protect the runner. But he was just so off balance and fooled by the pitch, they just threw his bat at the ball. And watch, he is completely fooled. He just throws the bat at the ball. Pretty bad position there.
Kids, don't you try that at home.
Yeah.
Mario Diaz is a highly paid professional. Here's Gary Reedus. Not recommended. Well, it just shows you how tough this breaking ball of Juan Guzman can be. Reedus struck out looking his first time. He's the leadoff man for Texas. Strike on the inside. Base hit can mean a run. The Rangers trail 3-1 in the last of the second inning. Yeah, the Yankees were down 8-0 today. California scored 8 runs in the second inning. And the Yankees kept chipping away, and finally in the bottom of the ninth they scored 2 and won it 9-8.
Sounds like their middle relief and long relief did a great job.
Somebody
held them,
yeah. I can tell you right here, Rich Monteleone and Paul Gibson, and finally John Havian, the 3 relievers. Monteleone got lit up, however, as part of that 8-run rally. But then he pitched another 4 innings after that, beautifully. A little later that pitch, 0-2 the count. Yankees in that ball game. Got another home run from Mike Stanley. I mean, this guy has 17 home runs, a former Ranger. Used to play right here. He's hitting .336 for the Yankees. Chartable 2 more RBIs. Mattingly's up to .311. O'Neill up to .331. He drove in 3 runs today. And they had 50,000 at Yankee Stadium for that game. Check swing. The Blue Jays appeal to Rocky Rowe at first base. Rocky says, no, he didn't swing at that. Are you kidding me? 1 ball, 2 strikes. By the way, Rocky Rowe asked us to send along birthday greetings to young Christopher Rowe up in Detroit, who's watching tonight. Christopher Rowe, 10 years old. And, of course, his dad, Rocky Rowe, umpiring right here, wanted to send along birthday greetings to son Christopher. Service that Sunday Night Baseball provides for Major League umpires occasionally. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. These guys never get home. Christopher knows you and me better than he knows Rocky. Sunday Night Baseball from Arlington Stadium, Texas. Nolan Ryan gave up a 3-run homer to Joe Carter in the first. The Rangers got 1 back in their half. It is 3-1. The world champion Blue Jays leading Texas. We're in the last of the second inning. Runner at second, 2 down. 2-2 to Gary Reedus. Julio Franco on deck. That slider, another check swing. 3-2 the count.
When you're throwing 96 miles an hour, you do not have to make perfect pitches with your fastball, nor do you have to get every hitter out with a breaking ball. I'm a little surprised that Guzman has thrown so many breaking balls, even though he's ahead in the count, because now you get to 3-2. And the hitter starts to look for a fastball.
That is Peltier over at second base. Ball 4 to Reedus. The 3rd walk allowed by Guzman, and it brings up Julio Franco with a chance to do some damage. Franco walked his first time and scored the Rangers' run. Now, this Texas ball club is averaging more than 5 runs a game. They've hit 109 home runs in their 95 games. So it's not unusual for them to do some damage. 2 on, 2 out. Ball 1 to Franco, missing badly with that slider. But that fastball, I haven't seen anybody really teeing off on that fastball yet. Have you, Joe?
Nobody's hitting his fastball. That's why I don't quite understand why he is using the breaking ball so much. And especially when you have a 3-1 lead, you do not want to walk anyone, make them put the ball in play.
There's that fastball, but it's too high. 2-0 the count. Rafael Palmeiro is on deck, and now Borders will go out and talk to Guzman. Well, this has been the Guzman problem this year. This guy always did throw a lot of pitches, but he put hitters away, and this year he's having a lot of trouble with that.
Well, that's the point. He's having a lot of trouble putting hitters away. He gets out in front, as he was in front of Franco the first time up. He walked him. He was in front of Reedus, and he walks him. I think that's his problem. He's getting ahead, but he hasn't been able to put the hitters away.
Galen Cisco, the veteran pitching coach of the Jays, watching his young protege struggle here in the heat in Texas. Now, after he had Reedus in the hole at 0-2, he walked him, and he has not thrown another strike. 6 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone since then. 2 on, 2 out. Deep and foul. Very much foul off the right field line. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Julio Franco. Julio Franco has always been an outstanding hitter, but he has never actually been in a pennant race before.
A lot of the Rangers haven't really been in a pennant race before. I was thinking about that, and that's one of the things Kevin Kennedy thinks about when he gets Nolan Ryan back. He needs an ace. Nolan has been in a couple of pennant races with Houston Astros.
2-1 the count. And out of play off to the right. Going to hit the facing of the upper deck here. 2-2 the count. This is the final year for baseball in Arlington Stadium. Also the final year of baseball for that man, although that's hard to believe. Come on, Nolan. Not just one more year in the new ballpark.
I think he's had so many frustrations this year, John, so, you know, I don't think he would, even if he does well down the stretch, I don't think he would consider it. Nolan Ryan is a great competitor, and I think he feels like he can't compete at the same level as he has for the last 5 or 6 years. He doesn't want to stick around.
2-2 the count. 2 on, 2 out. Second inning. Ball 3. Palmeiro is on deck. The runners will be going. Ryan, of course, already announcing before the season began that this would be his last year. He said he wanted to maybe quit a little too soon rather than find out he waited until it was too late. This will be the 46th pitch of this game already for Guzman. Only in the second inning. The runners go. And he'll have to throw number 47. The runners go back on the foul ball. That is Peltier, who hit into a force play, back to second base. And Gary Reedus, he's been in some pennant races. Most recently with the Pirates. Played for Jim Leland over there. 3-2. Reedus back to first. Franco, much of his career played with the Cleveland Indians, now here in Texas for a few years. There go the runners. And Franco got a piece of that one. 3-1, the Blue Jays ahead, last of the second inning. And Juan Guzman. How many innings he's going to be able to go at this pace? Not many.
Not many, because especially with the heat and the humidity.
Fortunately, their bullpen is fairly well rested. Dave Stewart went 8 1/3 innings for them last night here. Pickoff play at second. Fernandez takes the throw, but Peltier is back. Second base umpire Dale Scott right on top of the play. Jam-packed Arlington Stadium. Be better than 40,000 here tonight. The official capacity of the ballpark is about 43,000. So those luxury boxes there along the right field line, the very small upper deck behind the plate. The runners go. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Rafael Palmeiro, a red-hot hitter. Back-to-back walks by Guzman.
Well, it's very frustrating if you're Galen Cisco, because you say all he has to do is throw strikes. Because he has such good stuff, they're not going to hit it. But that is one of the problems he has had this year, and that is because when he falls behind and has to come with the fastball, they're looking for it.
Look out. Ball 1. Juan Gonzalez is on deck. Palmeiro has had 3 hits in 6 bases loaded at bats this year. A 500 average with 7 RBIs. One of those guys, you'd like him up there with the bases loaded because he's got such a good swing. Going to put the ball in play most often. 2-0. The bases are loaded. Peltier is at third base. Reedus at second base, the possible tying run. And Franco at first base. And finally, Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, is dispatched to the mound by Cito Gaston to go have a chat with Guzman. talking to Borders before he speaks to Guzman.
Well, I think he wants to know if he's seen anything. Maybe he's releasing the ball too high, you know, not following through. If he's seen anything from behind the plate. But other than that, I think he wants to talk to him about the fact that he's not using his fastball enough to get ahead in the count. He's starting hitters off with breaking balls and then falling behind. Try to get ahead. He has not established his fastball in this ball game yet.
Well, it's a 2-ball, no strike count now to Palmeiro. Palmeiro singled his first time, and he's hitting .357 lifetime against Guzman. Bases loaded. A base hit to the outfield should tie the game. There's a strike toward the inside. Nolan Ryan hoping that maybe Palmeiro will take him off the hook now after the 3-run homer that Carter hit against him in the first inning.
He's also getting a chance to rest himself.
It's almost like a day off for him now. Strike 2 over the outside.
And that's what they want him to do. Use your fastball. Throw it inside. Throw it outside. Up. Down. That's what, when you have a 90-plus mile-an-hour fastball, that's the way you use it. That makes you have 4 pitches. A fastball away, fastball in, fastball up, fastball down. Different pitches to different spots, different angles.
Bases loaded, 2 down, 3-1. Gerardo ahead, the 2-2 pitch. Caught by Molitor. And the side is retired. Well, he hit a scorcher, but Molitor was right there, and the Rangers leave them loaded and leave Gonzalez in the on-deck circle. Molitor, Carter, and Olerud coming up.
Announcing ESPN's 12th Man Contest, sponsored by McDonald's and Lee Jeans. It's coming soon. Brace yourself.
Time now for this date in baseball, brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. July the 25th. Back in 41, Ted Williams on his way to 406 was hitting an even 400. In 77, Carew at 386. He finished 388. Brett, 13 years ago, hitting only 379 on his way to 390. He eventually got it well over 400. John Olerud, he's at 402 today, but where will he be come October? Olerud coming up third here in the third inning. And that's this date in baseball, brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, MGD. Molitor against Ryan.
John
almost forgot Ryan was pitching this game. We've seen him so little out there lately.
John Olerud has dropped below the 400 mark 10 times this year and bounced back. That tells you a lot about his character.
Has a drive deep down the left field line. This one has a chance, and this one is gone. A home run. Paul Molitor, the first extra base hit he's ever had against Nolan Ryan in his 47th career plate appearance against him, and it's his 12th home run of the season. RBI number 60. 4-1, the Blue Jays up.
Well, again, he just doesn't have the same pop on his fastball that he had Monday, because this fastball is in, and Molitor's able to turn on it. Target's outside, but the ball is inside, as you can see, about belt high, and Molitor just lines it over the left field wall right down the line. And Nolan knows it's a home run right away. So does Molitor.
Now, Joe Carter hit a 3-run homer his first time. Fouls one out of play. 0-1 the count. Joe Carter, 19 homers, 78 RBIs. He's on pace for, in his current pace, is like 125 RBIs this year. Takes a curve high.
John, when you're a pitcher like Nolan Ryan, who's been out for a while, the first day back, your adrenaline's going to be flowing faster. Everything's going to be working for you, and you're going to throw the ball a little harder.
Foul ball.
But your second and third times back is when you gauge where you are. And I don't think you can even gauge where he is after tonight, even if he doesn't pitch well. I think it's the next start when you say, well, he's either back or he still has a lot of work to do.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Joe Carter. Struck him out with a fastball. He foul-tipped it into the glove of Petrali.
Well, that's good pitching by Nolan, because he knows that Joe Carter knows that he hit a fastball his first time up. So with 2 strikes, Carter's looking for another breaking ball, so he lets the fastball go. And this is what I was talking about with Guzman. I think he needs to use his fastball more when he gets ahead in the count.
John Olerud. Now, Olerud flied out to left center his first time.
I don't think I've ever seen Nolan question as many calls from the umpire either. He wanted that pitch, which was a changeup away.
And the curve misses. 2-0. Olerud now at 401. He was below 400 before last night's game. See what he's done in his career so far. That changeup is taken low.
Maybe he'll just skip over 300. He's never hit 300 before. Maybe just skip it.
You know, he said before the season his only goal this year was just to hit 300 for the season. And he's excited about being up around 400, but he tries not to think about it. He just wants to have a good at bat every time, get a hit every time. 3-0 the count. Strike one, 3-1. Now, if you're the manager, you got to get going for 400. Do you give him a green light on 3-0 sometimes to maybe help him out a little bit?
Well, I don't think you do it to help. I think you do it according to the situation.
Along the left field line, Gonzalez. He made the catch. Took it away from him.
Another reason it's very difficult to hit 400. They have fielders out there someplace. It's tough enough just to hit the ball hard, but when fielders take hits away from you, it's a line drive right down the left field line. Gonzalez got a great jump on it. I looked out and he was already running, and he just makes the catch just barely off the ground. That's what those 6-foot gloves will do for you. That's a long glove he has, and that's the only way he would have been able to make the catch, right in the web.
He needed every inch of it. 2 down, and here is Tony Fernandez. So Olerud's batting average now at an even 400. 0 for 2 tonight. Tony Fernandez taking ball one. Palmeiro. And that's the inning. But the home run by Molitor makes it 4-1 for the Toronto Blue Jays, with Juan Gonzalez after that sensational catch coming up. To be followed by Palmer and Petrali. We'll see Gonzalez when we get back. Now the Rangers in the last of the third inning from Arlington Stadium in Texas. John Miller and Joe Morgan. This is the first time that ESPN Sunday Night Baseball has ever done a game from Texas. The home of this man, Juan Gonzalez. First ball swinging against Guzman. The foul ball is back out of play. Gonzalez struck out his first time. 23 years of age. In his first full season in the major leagues, at age 21, he hit 27 homers and drove in 102. Last year, his second full season, 43 homers and 109 RBIs. Not many 22-year-olds have ever hit 40 home runs or more. And now here he is on pace for 40 more.
Man, he'd done all those things, and you didn't even know who he was till I talked to you about him today.
Give me a break, man. And Gonzalez, you see it, his current pace, 46 home runs and 124 batted in. Chase that slider, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He'll be followed by Dean Palmer and Gino Petrali.
Guzman matches up well against Gonzalez because he has 2 different speeds, a good fastball and then the breaking ball that takes a lot of speed off the pitch. He can pitch him up and in with the fastball, down the way with the breaking ball.
Just barely got a piece of that slider, so he keeps chasing it. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
One of the reasons that Gonzalez chases a few pitches is because he does have a lot of movement with his body. His body goes towards the pitcher a lot, which makes his head go towards the pitcher. So you will see him on occasion swing at a lot of bad pitches, especially if they start in the strike zone. But that's also how he generates so much power and bat speed.
The infield plays into pull, the outfield deep and pretty much straight away. Way outside, 2-2. You know, before last spring, he came to camp and had gained 25 pounds from the year before. And his waist size had gone down by 2 sizes. And you can see the sculpted body of Juan Gonzalez. Kind of reminds me of Dave Winfield a little bit. He's not as tall as Winfield. That's a great build. Enormously strong. 3-2. Guzman not been able to put these guys away tonight.
No.
Well, let's see if he challenges him here. What do you think?
I think he will, but I think he should. Let's put it that way. Whether he will or not, we'll have to see, but I think he should.
He struck him out with a slider.
He's a little smarter than I am, because the last thing I thought he wanted to do was get himself back into a bind pitching out of the stretch. This is a good breaking ball. This is as good a breaking ball as he has thrown, because it starts over the outside part of the plate and just jumps off the plate, and not much Gonzalez can do with it.
Now Dean Palmer comes up. Palmer walked his first time. Powerful right-handed swinger. Got a fastball, popped it up, foul, and back out of play. Toronto 4 and Texas 1. Rangers have been pretty well shut down by this Toronto staff the last couple of games. They've had only one extra base hit in the last 2 games.
And then really they live and die by the extra base hit, either home runs and doubles, extra base hits. They strike out a lot, not a lot of speed, so they count on extra base hits and home runs.
Again, the hard one. Again, fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dean Palmer. 97 miles an hour in that last one.
And if you're throwing 97 miles an hour, John, you can throw that fastball to most any hitter in baseball. Anytime. I know a few legends that he probably couldn't throw it to, you know, Ted Williams, you know, maybe Willie Mays, some of those great fastball hitters, and Ken Griffey's father, senior.
.96 degrees here in Arlington, and Guzman has now got more heat even than the Texas weather here. Throwing 97, it's fallen all the way to 96 now.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the humidity to go with it.
I wish I'd brought my sweater now. Arlington Stadium, they'll close it down after the final game of this year. We'll move into a beautiful new ballpark. Fouled straight back, and the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. This ballpark, of course, became the home of the Rangers 1972. They moved here from Washington. Bob Short bolting right out of the nation's capital, coming down here. And they kind of redesigned this ballpark. They put in all of those bleachers all the way around the outfield to make the capacity at that time 35,000. 19,000 seats in those outfield bleachers. Strike 3. So it's not really what you would consider a great big league ballpark because of that. But now, just out across the parking lot from here is the new ballpark. It is as yet unnamed. Some think they ought to name it Nolan Ryan Park. But it's got a beautiful outward facade. Inside, that's looking down the right field line. Look at that double-decked appearance like Tiger Stadium out in right field. Here is Gino Petralli. And he takes a ball from Guzman outside. 1 ball to no strikes. The ballpark will be in an asymmetrical configuration. Charlie takes the ball. 2-0 the count. And they say it's going to be quite something. And unlike the ballpark at Camden Yards, built downtown with all of the downtown streets and buildings and whatnot, they're going to build a little town around this ballpark out here. Some big plans for it. Carter going back into right. Maybe that one would have threatened that home run porch in the new ballpark next year. That's the inning. The Rangers go down in order. First easy inning for Guzman. Sunday night baseball from Arlington, Texas. Part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the city in between Dallas and Fort Worth, along what they used to call the old Dallas-Fort Worth Turnpike, which connected the 2 cities. This is where the old Washington Senators ended up. Arlington Stadium. Nolan Ryan delivers ball 1 to Ed Sprague. Sprague hit into a forced play his first time. 4-1, Toronto ahead. And that's out of play. We're in the 4th inning. And each pitcher has worked awfully hard for just 3 innings. Nolan Ryan has already thrown 54 pitches, and Guzman has thrown 70 pitches already. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan figures he could go maybe 110 pitches or so. And to help them in the stretch run, as Sprague takes strike 2, they feel he's going to have to get them through the 7th inning a lot. It's not going to be much help to their bullpen if he's always only going 5 or so. Dean Palmer still throws him out. Out number 1. Back to that new ballpark. That's the model of what it will look like when it's all finished. A triple-decked affair with that home run porch out there in right field. That's the close-up look. It's got the poles and everything taken right out of Tiger Stadium. And they'll have the luxury boxes named after Hall of Famers. That's the Joe Morgan luxury box. Outside, the granite and brick facade with the Texas appurtenances there, the Lone Star and the Longhorn.
See, they remember Texas-born players. That suite, they said I could at least come in and sit every once in a while.
They told you that?
Yeah.
And you bought it?
Yeah, I believe them.
That will drop out of play down near the Ranger bullpen as Palmeiro and Peltier gave chase. 1 ball, 1 strike to Borders, who singled his first time. Sunday night baseball from Texas. Toronto 4, Texas 1, top of the 4th inning. A 3-run first-inning homer by Carter, a solo homer by Molitor in the 3rd against Ryan for the Blue Jays scoring. Off the fist foul. That new ballpark, by the way, will be 332 down the left field line, 325 to right field. But I don't think they consulted Juan Gonzalez about this, their big slugger. It's supposed to be 388 into left center. He might lose a few homers in that new ballpark.
Well, I guess they strike 3 call. I guess they figured Johnny hit some 25, 30 rolls up here, so it really doesn't matter. Let's see if the catcher moves his glove. There's a target, outside corner. Strike 3 call. Borders doesn't like the call.
Well, he'll be asking for that pitch when Guzman goes back out. 2 down in the 4th inning, and here is Turner Ward. A lot of talk about the Blue Jays going out after a left fielder since Candy Maldonado left. They've had some problems out there. Derek Bell was supposed to be the heir apparent, but they grew weary of Derek, and they traded him away to San Diego, and then Darren Jackson never seemed to get going with Toronto. They finally traded him away and picked up Tony Fernandez. They brought up Rob Butler from the minor league system, and he hurt his thumb, has been in the disabled list. So Turner Ward and Darnell Coles have been platooning out there. Cito Gaston said before the game that Butler might be back in a couple of weeks. They hope so. They like him defensively out there. There's some talk that they also might try and engineer a trade for a guy like Joe Orsolite from the New York Mets. The Blue Jays last year was about this time, as I recall. Or actually a little bit later. It was after the trading deadline when they picked up David Cone. A big position. That one just misses. 3-1 now to Turner Ward. And Ryan is giving it to the plate umpire, Mike Riley.
But he's asking in a nice way, and then he finally says, come on.
Ryan is 3 years older than Mike Riley. 3-1. And a walk. And Ryan comes down off the mound and glares at Riley again.
Center fielder Devon.
Tomorrow night, Monday Night Baseball, 7:30. The New York Yankees hit the road, and they'll have to take on the Tigers at Tiger Stadium. Jimmy Key, 12-game winner, and he'll be out there trying to shut down the big guy, Cecil Fielder, now with 85 runs batted in. The Tigers have been struggling terribly. There they are, 4.5 out. The Yankees tied with Boston for first. The Blue Jays trying to become the 3rd member of that tie for the top. They can win here tonight. It'll be tomorrow, 7:30, 4:30 Pacific. The Yankees and the Tigers. And there's strike 1 to Devon White, who has walked and grounded out to second. Devon off to a real slow start here in the second half. He has not hit well. It's before the All-Star break. Ward is running, and he steals it easily. There was not even a need for a throw there.
Well, as I mentioned, Nolan Ryan with the big high leg kick makes it very easy for a base runner to steal. If you get a good jump, it's going to be almost impossible to throw you out. He's running a great jump. Petrali's throw is not even close. You see, Diaz just comes up and catches it because no play at second base.
Third steal of the year for Turner Ward. We're in the fourth inning. Blue Jays 4-1. And that will turn that steal into a run. Devon White singling home Turner Ward. 5-1 for the Blue Jays. 32nd RBI for White.
That's one of the reasons that the Blue Jays are a contending team, because they understand that you have to manufacture runs every once in a while off of good pitchers. And that's exactly what they've done. A stolen base and a 2-out single. And I wouldn't be surprised if if Devon White didn't take off.
Well, he has 21 steals. By the way, you know something is not quite right with Ryan if Devon White is getting clutch hits against him, because that's the fourth hit for White in 35 lifetime at-bats against Ryan. Ryan is his worst nightmare. White back to the bag.
Well, at this moment, he becomes Ryan's worst nightmare, because Ryan cannot really stop him from stealing the base. Unless he doesn't stop, as he did there. That was a real veteran's move. Throw to first base, and then come set and just continue on to the plate. You can get away with that every once in a while.
Alomar bluffing the bunt. He's got Molitor up next.
I think Alomar was bluffing the bunt to give Devon White a chance to go on that pitch. He thought he was going, because what you do to help the base runner if you're a hitter is you square around the bunt and then pull the bat back. That keeps the catcher back behind the plate longer. He can't jump out in front of the plate and make the throw.
Not only was he not running, but you could see clearly that he had no intention of running that last pitch. He stood there flat-footed. Didn't even bluff. And 3-0 to Alomar.
But there's no doubt that he is disturbing Nolan Ryan. Nolan has given him quite a bit of concentration.
Matt Whiteside, the right-hander, warming up in the Rangers bullpen. There's Kevin Kennedy. Ryan really struggling tonight. He thought this was a big start for Ryan. And now
first baseman Paul Molitor.
Claude Osteen, the pitching coach, is going to go out and have a visit with Ryan, because he pitched well the other night, but they're real interested to see how he bounced back tonight, and so far not well.
Well, but John, as I mentioned earlier, there is a natural letdown the second game you go out there after you've been off for a long period of time. You put all your focus on the game that you pitch when you get back. Now he has to, refocus, and he probably hasn't done that as well tonight as he did the first game. That's why I say, in my opinion, the next game is where you really judge where Nolan Ryan is at this stage.
Paul Molitor coming up. Great veteran right-handed hitter. In the third inning, he led off against Ryan, and he ripped one out of here right down the left field line. His 12th home run of the year. Molitor 1 for 2 in the game. 5-1 the Blue Jays in the fourth inning. High and foul off the first base side and back into the spectators. There is Devon White now at second base, and Roberto Alomar now at first base. Alomar been aboard twice, so has White. These guys are always on base.
Well, that's how Joe Carter and Olerud drive in so many runs. They always have these opportunities, and so does Paul Molitor.
Two of them, Alomar and White, so far this year with either hits or walks or being hit by a pitch, have been on base a combined total of more than 300 times, which means an average of more than 3 times a game that they're going to be on base for Molitor and Carter and those guys. Well, that one had some dip to it. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, he doesn't want to throw Molitor another fastball in, so he throws him a changeup. And you see Molitor is way out in front of it. Nolan's changeup moves like a sinker down and into the right-hander and away from the left-hander.
And the breaking ball is low. 2-2 now. White at second base, Alomar at first. 2 down. A run is in. Ryan got the first 2 hitters of the inning easily, but then he walked the 9th place hitter, Turner Ward, which was not a good idea. Ward then stole, and White singled him home, then Alomar walked. Joe Carter on deck. Base hit! And here comes White to score run number 6. Alomar stops at second. It is 6-1 for Toronto with Joe Carter coming up.
Well, what you didn't see there on the screen was that Devon White was breaking for third, and Palmer went to cover third, and the ball went right through the hole. He did not get a chance to make the play. Take a look at, see, here comes Palmer, there comes White, now here comes Palmer, and the ball is hit right where Palmer just left. If Devon White was not running on the plate, that ball would have been caught.
So here's Carter. 3-run homer in the first for Carter. Takes a strike. He struck out his last time. 6-1 Toronto leading the Rangers. I think that was one of the reasons White was running, to open that hole.
Yeah. Well, again, when you run, you do open holes.
0-2.
But not only that, because Nolan Ryan does not hold runners well, especially at second base, White was just taken off because he knew that he could get a good enough jump that he could steal third base easily.
And La Russa will often do that in a spot like that with McGuire at the plate, hoping to open the hole for McGuire. When he had McGuire. Strike 3, but the Toronto Blue Jays get 2 more runs to lead Ryan and the Rangers 6-1 at the 3.5.
Pitching.
The hot dog. All right. You got the guy.
About no hitters.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's about having fun.
Well, the family atmosphere.
Everybody should play a part.
How about you guys doing your part?
My part? I share my peanut. Here, I bring my son.
I just keep them high, inside, and fast.
I make sure the field's ready.
Don't drink and drive.
No drinking and driving. We need designated drivers.
We're in the game. We're alcohol free. We're getting home safe.
Keep baseball fun for everyone.
Do your part.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Bottom of the 4th inning now from Arlington, Texas, and the Toronto Blue Jays looking every bit the world champion, leading the Rangers 6-1. This is Doug Strange. Broken bat roller right to Molitor. 1 away, and let's go to the studio now.
Budweiser brings you the National League leaders. The Giants have beaten the Phillies 8 times in 12 tries now. Billy Swift strikes out a career-high 9. Darren Dalton goes down there. Barry Bonds hits his Major League leading 29th home run. The Giants have won 6 out of 7. Their Western lead is 9. The Phil's Eastern lead paired to 4. John?
All right, Chris, thank you. And on Tuesday, Greg Jeffries and the whatever. One night later this week, you'll see the Phillies and the Cardinals. That's a base hit for Dan Peltier.
That was a tough play for Sprague. The ball was hit right off the end of the bat. And he made the play about as well as you can make it. It's hit off the end of the bat. Sprague was deep. He comes in, barehands it, but he can't get enough on the throw. Throws short hops, Molitor. But Peltier was there anyway, base hit.
Here's Mario Diaz. Did a short his first time. And that's foul. 6 runs, 6 hits for Toronto. 1 run, 3 hits for the Texas Rangers. Now the Rangers certainly have the firepower to come back in a ball game like this. And Juan Guzman, having already thrown 70 pitches before this inning, not sure how long he's going to be around, but right now everything going the Blue Jays' way. Did I say everything? Over to second base goes Peltier on the wild pitch. Second wild pitch of the game. Thrown by Guzman.
Well, it's obvious, you know, from my viewpoint that I have a problem with a guy that throws 97 miles an hour. He has a 5-run lead, yet we throw slider after slider to hitters. I don't quite understand it. I really don't. It'd be different if you do not have a good enough fastball or if it was a tight ball game. The last thing you want to do is throw wild pitches and walk hitters.
And that's a base hit on a fastball.
Yeah.
And overrun, allowing the runner to score on the error by Turner Ward. They were holding up Peltier at third base, and then when Ward kicked that ball around, they sent him on home. 6-2 now for the Blue Jays.
John, what happens if you're a hitter and a guy throws you a lot of breaking balls, he keeps missing with it, you know he has to come with the fastball. So then you just sit on the fastball. But until he misses with the breaking balls, you have to keep an open mind. Base hit into left field. Now Ward just charges it, botches it, and Peltier comes in to score.
Now to the top of the batting order, here's Gary Reedus. One out, runner at first. 6-2 Toronto. And back to the bag is Diaz. Well, Mario Diaz, he gets a single, no run batted in. An error charge to Turner Ward for allowing Peltier to score. Gary Reedus hitting .233. He has struck out and walked in this game. .238 is his current average. Franco on deck. 4 hits for Texas now. Guzman has walked 3, thrown 2 wild pitches. And diving back is Diaz. Molitor on the bag with it. See Molitor wearing number 19. He could not get the number he'd always worn in Milwaukee with the Brewers. When he came to the Blue Jays, it was taken. So he took number 19 in honor of his former teammate, Robin Young. Fernandez gets the double play started in that hot shot by Reedus. 6-4-3. John Olerud hitting an even .400 when we get back. 6-2 Toronto. John Miller and Joe Morgan, and can John Olerud hit .400? Tonight he's 0 for 2, and he was robbed of a hit his last time up there by Juan Gonzalez.
Well, you have to put that out of your mind. You have to approach each at bat just to try to get a base hit. You have to forget about what you are at that particular point in the game.
All right, well, maybe he can forget about it, but I can't. It's in my mind even now. It's as if it's just happened. I can see Gonzalez streaking across the green and diving, and against the odds, pulling it off the grass, Joe.
Well, you know, I was going to try to put in perspective how difficult it is to hit .400.
There's ball 1 to Olerud.
If you think about it, John, you get 10 at-bats. You have to have 4 hits every 10 at-bats. But John Olerud strikes out 1 out of every 10 at-bats, so you have to get 4 hits out of every 9 at-bats. That's how difficult it is to hit .400.
4 out of every 9 times you make contact.
Exactly.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to him.
And your strikeouts will usually, the ratio will usually stay that way the entire season.
He's certainly not a guy who's going to get many infield hits. Rod Carew used to beat out 25, 26, 27 bunts for hits every year. Olerud doesn't do that. But he does use all the field. Last time he hit it down the left field line, he's just as well able to pull it this time. Yeah, one of those hitters who takes what they give him. He's been much more aggressive this year, however. He swings at a lot more first pitches.
That's the difference that I see in him this year. Last year, I thought he was not as aggressive as he should have been as a hitter. This year, he is far more aggressive. He will go after the first pitch.
3-1 the count to him. He also walks a lot. 3-2. Now, he might have taken that one in the past. In fact, he hit a home run the other night here to win a ball game, and he said afterwards, he said, you know, last year, I never would have swung at that pitch.
Well, a lot of times, if you're swinging the bat well, you do go out of the strike zone a little bit.
3-2 the count. And a walk. The 69th time this year that Olerud has walked. His on-base average is 500. Well, we talked to Olerud recently about a chance meeting with George Brett. Talked to Brett about the pressures involved.
He was asking me, you know, how the media pressure and all that, how I was handling that. And, you know, I said it was going pretty good, and I asked him, you know, what it was like for him, you know, that late in the season, getting into August and September, and he just got the hit and run sign at that time, so he was just getting ready to answer my question, and he was gone.
So long, kid. And that's ball one to Tony Fernandez. And Brett may not have another shot like that to talk to Olerud because the season series is over, and Brett may retire at the end of this year. But one day, some young guy will be at first base and start talking to Olerud about the pressures involved. 1 ball to no strikes to Fernandez. That's called a strike. 1-1. Tony is 0 for 1 with a walk. Now, Olerud is also only 23 years of age. He's a guy who never spent a day in the minor leagues. And, you know, in some ways, he's done all of his learning in the big leagues and is now just at maybe the experience level where ordinarily a guy would be coming to the big leagues. So he's ahead of the game. Strike 2. Matt Whiteside, for the second time in the ball game, gets up in the Rangers bullpen. I said to Olerud 23, he's 24. I forgot how old he's become now. 24-year-old guy. And in fact, he'll turn 25 in a couple of weeks. August the 5th. Olerud had told everyone that he was not going to come out of college. That teams were going to waste their draft choice. He was going to go back and have his senior year at Washington State. But the Blue Jays drafted him anyway. Just took a shot. Pat Gillick, Blue Jays general manager, knew his father played minor league ball with him. That is caught by Dean Palmer, and Fernandez is retired. And ultimately, they did sign John Olerud.
Third baseman.
And he went right to the big leagues in September of 1989 and into a pennant race. Although rarely played, he mostly watched. His father was twice an MVP at Washington State and also an All-American catcher there back in 1965. So father and son quite a history out there with the Cougars, Washington State University in Pullman, Washington. 1 strike to count to Ed Sprague. He's hit into a force play and grounded to third. It was one of those turnaround moments. You talk about a lot of things that happened in the World Series last year. But the one thing that may have turned it completely around was Sprague's Game 2 home run against Jeff Reardon in the 9th inning with the Blue Jays trailing. That put them ahead. They won that game. And then they went home and were in very good shape to win that World Series.
If you watch Nolan Ryan, again, you know, he doesn't have any confidence in his fastball. He's throwing basically change-ups and curveballs now. He just tells you that either he's a little tired or he doesn't feel that he can throw the fastball.
A lot of work tonight in 4 1/3 innings. Another breaking ball. 2-1. 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, 6 hits, 6 runs allowed. 2 home runs, Carter and Molitor.
When you look at Nolan Ryan and you say to yourself, how can he throw this hard for so long? One of the reasons is because he's such a strong individual from his waist down. Has very strong legs.
Foul ball in the check swing. 2-2.
Can't find one that he's comparable with. There you see the numbers, his 27th Major League season.
Two to Sprague. Borders is on deck. The Blue Jays lead 6-2. Olerud, the runner at first. He just blew that one past him. Strikeout number 5 for Nolan. And we got a listing there at 93 miles per hour.
Well, he finally throws the high fastball, and it's up and out of the strike zone. There you get a look at the drive that he puts and the pressure that he does put on his lower part of his body.
Here's Pat Borders, 1 for 2. Foul straight back. You know, Tom House, for a number of years, the pitching coach here with the Rangers, and now still in the organization as a coach. But he worked with Nolan Ryan at Nolan's request on his rehabilitation. And House made the comment. He said, you know, if Nolan is unable to really make a full comeback, or he breaks down again, it won't be because of his arm. His arm is great, but it will be because of his legs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Legs are very important, obviously, to a pitcher and also to a hitter.
That is hit hard and foul by the World Series MVP. 1-2 to Pat Borders.
From a pitcher's standpoint, that's why you see them run so much in the outfield to strengthen their legs. And from a hitter's standpoint, if you do not use your legs, then you do not have as much bat speed as you can have when you do turn on the pitch.
Well, 99 pitches thrown already by Ryan. We're in the 5th inning. Nolan has been injured a couple of different times this year. He had arthroscopic surgery to remove torn cartilage from his right knee back on April 15th. Then got injured again, strained his left hip on May the 7th. 2-2 now to Borders. So both times problems with his legs, the knee surgery and then the strained left hip, and 2 different times on the disabled list. John Olerud, the runner at first, 2 down in the 5th inning. Olerud ready to run than anything here. 2-2 to Pat Borders. Turner Ward on deck. Into right field, shallow. Peltier in fair territory for the catch. Well, maybe we've seen the last of Ryan. Franco, Palmeiro, and Gonzalez coming up.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball with John Miller and Joe Morgan continues from Arlington Stadium in Texas.
All right. Sold out crowd tonight, lured by Nolan Ryan. But so far, it's been the world champion Blue Jays. 6-2 Toronto. And here is Julio Franco, most valuable player in the All-Star game back in 1990. A lifetime .301 hitter in the big leagues. And a batting champion in the American League just 2 years ago, facing Juan Guzman, who takes ball 1. Franco tonight has walked twice in this game. Franco, now 31 years of age, and he is from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, and indeed started his career as a shortstop. 2-0 the count to Franco. Remember, he was part of that huge deal with Philadelphia after the '82 season. Cleveland sent 5 players to Philadelphia for Julio Franco, or rather, for Vaughn Hayes. And right to the center fielder, Devon White, and there is one away. Hayes went to the Phillies, and the Phillies sent 5 players to Cleveland, including Julio Franco.
First baseman, Rafael
Manny Trio went to Cleveland that year.
Julio hits the line drive, but right at the center fielder, Devon White.
So the first time Franco's put the ball in play tonight. Here's Rafael Palmeiro. He singled his first time, and then a key moment of the game. Bases loaded, 2nd inning. And he drilled one, a line shot, but right to the first baseman, Molitor, who made the catch. Strike 1 to him. Palmeiro, born in Cuba, but grew up in Miami. 0-2, and when he grew up, some of the guys he played ball with were named Canseco, and Chartable. Had some pretty good clubs in his neighborhood.
Real good ball clubs.
But he's used to being in fast company. When he went to college, he played with guys like Will Clark and Bobby Thigpen at Mississippi State. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Palmeiro used to be with the Cubs. They played him in left field. And he was a guy who hit the ball to left field all the time. But now he's more like the whole package. Hits home runs and hits 300. Turner Ward. 2 down. And that brings Gonzalez now.
You see Guzman using his fastball to better advantage now when he gets ahead of the hitter. Throw it and let them be a little late on it. You know, you look at Gonzalez, he has hit a home run in every 11.8 at bats. That's number 1 in baseball. And he has a chance to lead the league in home runs 2 years in a row. The last guy to do that was Jimmy Rice, the Boston Red Sox, in 77 and 78. So Gonzalez could be a guy that could lead the league 3 or 4 times in a row.
Jim Rice, 77 and 78. He had phenomenal years. 78, won the MVP. Had 46 home runs that year. Had 15 triples. Hit 320 plus. Gonzalez with a 40 home run year under his belt already before his 23rd birthday. That was last year. Chasing the slider, 1 ball, 1 strike. Only 4 other players in the history of the game ever did that. And some pretty good ones. One guy was named Johnny Bench.
I've heard of him.
Mel Ott.
I've heard of him also.
Eddie Matthews.
Played with him.
Hall of Famers all. And the Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio.
Didn't play with him.
Come on. Joe played a long time, Joe. There's a strike 2 swinging. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Juan Gonzalez.
I talked earlier about the movement. He has a lot of movement in his body. And when you move your body, your head has a tendency to move. And these 2 pitches that he swung and missed, because his body's moved, his head is pulled off. And that's why he chases some bad pitches on occasion.
He struck him out. And he has struck him out all 3 times tonight. Alomar coming up 3rd.
Now pitching for the Rangers.
Toronto leads 6-2, and Guzman has been able to contain Juan Gonzalez. This is in the 1st inning, and the one thing you'll notice about all of his strikeouts, none of the pitches are strikes. Breaking ball off the plate, another breaking ball off the plate. And this last fastball is off the plate. Not as patient as he has been. That's why he's striking out so much.
3 of the 6 strikeouts for Juan Guzman. 6-2, Toronto. New pitcher in relief of Nolan Ryan for Texas is the 25-year-old Matthew Christopher Whiteside from Charleston, Missouri. Only his 4th year in pro ball. And that's a ball to Turner Ward. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ward has had a sacrifice bunt. He has also walked, stolen a base, and scored a run. Whiteside in his 43rd game of the year, all as a reliever. 2-1. Whiteside, 52 innings, 54 hits. Rarely walks a hitter. 13 walks allowed. And 27 strikeouts. And a base hit for Turner Ward. Hit number 7 for Toronto.
Center fielder Devon White.
Matt Whiteside went to Arkansas State University in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Was the American South Conference Player of the Year. 1 year there, got his degree in physical education. And back to the bag is Ward. Devon White coming up now, the leadoff man with Roberto Alomar right behind him. Over at third base, Palmer shallow. And again, Turner Ward back to the bag at first. Palmeiro on the bag with him. So not a night to remember for Nolan Ryan.
No, he didn't. He struggled from the first inning on and threw a lot of pitches.
That is a foul ball. And Ryan walked the very first man he faced, Devon White. The second man he faced was Alomar, who singled. And then the fourth man he faced, Joe Carter, hit a 3-run homer against him. White's been involved in a couple of rallies tonight. In the fourth inning, he singled home a run and then later scored a run. So he scored twice, driven home one. 6-2, Toronto in the sixth. High pop-up, third base side, Dean Palmer for the out. Now, White was not really even running, trotting up the first base line, holding his bat all that way.
Roberto Alomar.
One down, Roberto Alomar. Hall of Fame weekend coming up on ESPN. At 4:30, it's the NFL inductions. Bill Walsh, who led the 49ers to 3 Super Bowls, and the NFL all-time leading rusher, Walt Payton, are honored, along with Chuck Noll, Dan Fouts, and Larry Little. Then the Major League inductions, Major League Baseball inductions on Sunday at 6. And of course, there is one baseball inductee this year, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. 563 career homers. The only player ever to hit 3 home runs consecutively in a World Series game. Alomar hits a double play ball, and they turn it. Dean Palmer coming up when we return. Last of the 6th inning from Arlington, Texas. And it will be Dean Palmer to lead it off for the Texas Rangers against Gino Petralli. Palmer has walked and struck out against Juan Guzman. And there is ball one. Watching Guzman tonight, although at times it seems like he's his own worst enemy, the kind of stuff he has, you wonder why he has that earned run average of 4.40.
Well, I think I see the reason. One is that he walks too many hitters, and he's falling behind, and once he gets ahead, he's not putting hitters away. I still believe that he doesn't use his fastball properly, and especially not enough when he has a 4-run lead.
6-2, he's out in front. He has 4 walks in the game. He's had 6 strikeouts, 2 wild pitches. It's a strike, 2-1. Dean Palmer, when this guy hits, he usually hits him far. Didn't hit that one. 2-2. He has 68 hits this year, and 44 of them, or about 2/3, have been for extra bases. 21 home runs, 21 doubles, 2 triples. Down on strikes. He didn't fool around with him, did he?
No,
Came right after him with the heat.
And again, I think that's what he should be doing, especially against 2 strikes on the hitter. The high fastball, that's the toughest pitch to hit. He struck Gonzalez out with the high fastball. Now he gets Palmer with the high fastball. This one's on the inside part of the plate. Really ties Palmer up, as you can see. No way he can get to it.
96 miles an hour. We clocked that last one. Here's Gino Petralli. He has struck out and flying to right. Off the fists, foul. Out of play. 6-2, Toronto leading. Last of the 6th. Now, Toronto will be going into a battle against those top teams in the East after this series.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting. They go home and face Baltimore Tuesday at the Sky Dome. Seems to be a little bad blood between the 2 ball clubs after that All-Star game. Cito Gaston upset the way the Baltimore fans booed his players at the All-Star game.
And I agree with that. I don't think players should be booed at the All-Star game. It's the one time that I think everyone should be cheered because they're All-Stars. And I guess there were some other misunderstandings there because a lot of people thought Cito had Mike Mussina up throwing and didn't use him, but it wasn't Cito's idea for him to be up throwing. So he wasn't really teasing the fans as some people thought he was.
And that breaking ball in there for a strike. 1-2 to Petrali. Well, he was asked before the ball game tonight how the Toronto fans would welcome the Orioles. And he said he thought that they would welcome them in a much classier way than they were treated in Baltimore. And he pointed to the World Series last year when the Atlanta Braves came to Toronto.
Right.
After the incident before the game in Atlanta where the Marine color guard had the Canadian flag upside down inadvertently. And, of course, much was made of that in Canada. And yet there was no incident in Toronto as a result of it. He felt that was very classy. That's what he predicted for the visit of the Orioles. Well, on the other hand, those fans up there, Joe, can tend to be kind of quiet at the Sky Dome. Might be nice if there was a little more lively flavor to the crowd when these pennant race games start happening. Base hit for Petrali. Hit number 5 for Texas.
When you have a 4-run lead, he started with a 5-run lead before last inning. I think what you have to do is throw strikes, make them hit the ball. When they get runners on base, then you go to your other pitches. Then you make good pitches.
So here's Doug Strange, who's had an infield hit and is grounded out to first. Mentioning the Blue Jays going into that round of games against the East. 2 with Baltimore, then Detroit comes into the Sky Dome for 4. And then the Blue Jays go to New York. That should really be a war. Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium beginning Monday, August the 2nd, a week from tomorrow. The Yanks have played extremely well at home. As we saw last Sunday, the fans there at Yankee Stadium are into it. They're like they used to be in a pennant race. Very lively. That's never a problem at Yankee Stadium. 1 ball, no strikes to Strange. 2-0. 6-2. Toronto ahead, last of the 6th. Boston Red Sox, 10 wins in a row. They won again today. Boston is also on a run where they have won 25 and lost 5. You know, Boston looked like they were dead. In fact, Cito Gaston said the last time the Blue Jays saw the Red Sox, they left them for dead. And then Boston goes 25-5. And Andre Dawson is hot. He homered today. Mo Vaughn had a grand slam. Ball 4. 2 men on with 1 man out. And Peltier is coming up. In the American League East, Boston and New York both won today. The Blue Jays, who are leading tonight, if they win, they'll be in a 3-way tie for first. Baltimore lost at Minnesota. The Orioles a game and a half out. And Detroit 4.5 out, although Mike Moore got them a shutout win today. Even Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians, have won 20 of their last 31. A lot of teams playing well in the East. Meanwhile, things very tightly bunched in the West. Texas would move ahead of Kansas City with a victory tonight. Seattle still with a shot, but California, Minnesota, and Oakland starting to trail badly as we head toward the final third of the season. Tough if you're like 9 games under 500, as are the Angels, to be considered a threat, even when you're only 8 games out. Galen Cisco, after his visit, goes back to the dugout. And here's Peltier, safe on a force out, and he has had an infield hit and scored a run. Guzman with his 5th walk of the game, but his first since the 2nd inning. He's now thrown over 100 pitches in the game. 6-2, he's ahead. Ball 1. That's Mike Timlin, the right-hander. Now getting loose in the Toronto bullpen. He may never throw another strike.
Well, all of a sudden, he just seems like he's lost his rhythm out there on the mound, and everything is high. The fastballs are high, the breaking balls are in the dirt. Galen Cisco looks on, pitching coach.
And a wild pitch. Well, that fan grabbed the ball in play over there, and he should be ejected from this ballpark, and I think that he will be. You don't ever touch a ball in play. And in every ballpark, that's a rule. If you do, you'll be asked to leave the ballpark. That fella right there. I'm very pleased that he grabbed that ground ball, or that wild pitch, but that ball was in play.
Well, it's definitely in play, and again, it's another wild pitch. As I said, the breaking balls are in the dirt, and the fastballs are high. Borders tried to block it, but it bounced away.
Three and one now to Peltier. Third wild pitch of the game thrown by Guzman. He, of course, leads the league with 19 wild pitches. Now base hit could cut this lead right in half. 2 men in scoring position. And the bases are loaded. Ball 4. And I don't know, Joe, what do you think? Has he had it?
Well, I haven't seen enough of him to really know this year, but he does. I mean, he still seems like he has good velocity. He just can't find the strike zone.
Guzman, all of last year with 72 walks and 180 and 2/3 innings, and has already equaled that in 46 and 2/3 fewer innings this year. Well, Cito Gaston thinks he's had it. He's got Timlin coming in from the bullpen. The bases loaded. Diaz coming up with 1 out. We'll be back.
Stick around for SportsCenter. The Red Sox hope their hot streak hits 10. Junior looks to extend his homer streak. And our conversation is Walter Payton, whose streak through the NFL leaves him on Canton's doorstep. Join me, Linda, along with Keith after the game.
6-2 Toronto, last of the 6th, but the Rangers had the bases loaded with only 1 man out as Mike Timlin, 27-year-old right-hander from Midland, Texas, comes on to pitch. Remember, he got the save in the final game of the World Series. It was he who fielded Otis Nixon's drag bunt attempt and threw him out to wrap up the series. 3 men on base. There is Gino Petralli, number 12 at third base, Doug Strange at second base, and Dan Peltier at first base. And there is more activity in the Toronto bullpen as Timlin gets ready to work here. Timlin with a 5.40 earned run average. Ball 1. 38 in the 3rd innings, 19 walks, and 47 hits allowed.
Well, the 47 hits are just, that's a tremendous number, especially for a reliever that's going to come in the 6th or 7th inning. Most of the time you will inherit base runners.
Mario Diaz 1 for 2. That is foul.
But he does have a good fastball, and he does have the ball sinks real well. He's got a good sinker.
Mark Eichhorn, the right-hander, and Al Leiter, the left-hander, in the Toronto bullpen. Cito Gaston. Things have not been easy for the Blue Jays this year. They have lost 14 of their last 21 ball games. And they have not pitched well most of the year. Almost a wild pitch. Nice save by Borders. Ball 2. Timlin had elbow surgery before last season. He had an excellent rookie year. Working mostly in long relief, he won 11 ball games. Missed much of last year because of the elbow surgery. Now this year, he just not pitched that well. 3-1. Cito can't find anybody to throw a strike.
Yeah, seems like they're all nibbling.
Guzman walked each of the last 2 men he faced, and 6 overall in 5 1/3 innings. Now it is 3-1 to Mario Diaz. Bases loaded. Could be 2. Sprague to second one. Alomar to first. Off the bag. Coming in to score is Petrali. Strange takes third, and it is 6-3.
Well, Ed Sprague got crossed up there. He didn't know exactly what to do. He should have taken the runner at third and then tried to go to first. Now watch, the ball is hit like a shot. He is moving toward the bag. Go ahead and tag the bag. That makes sure once. See, he hesitates, looks at home, and then he comes to second. No chance for the double play. So indecision by Sprague there may have cost him, an out. The run was going to score because he should have just tagged third and then went across the diamond.
So the Rangers get a break. 6-3 now, Toronto. Here's Gary Reedus. He has struck out, walked, and hit a double play ball. First and third, 2 down. High and deep into center field. Devon White going back. Still going back. It's tied up.
Timlin throws what looks like a little breaking ball. It doesn't break much. And Reedus hits it over the center field wall.
Now Julio Franco, strike. The 4th home run of the year for Gary Reedus. His 16th, 17th, and 18th runs batted in. So Nolan Ryan cannot lose this one now. He's off the hook. And talk about squandering a lead. I mean, this really happened because 2 walks in a row by Guzman, then the failure to convert the double play, the inexperience of Sprague, perhaps. I mean, they opened the door as wide as they could for the Rangers to walk right through, and finally, Reedus obliged them. 6-6.
I still think it starts with the people on the mound. They have not been aggressive with the lead. They have not gone after the Texas Ranger hitters.
Foul. High in the air, off to the right. Gary Reedus, his 4th home run of the year. He didn't get much of a chance to play. It was only his 107th at bat of the year. Chase the bat one. But the Rangers come rushing back with a 4-run 6th inning. And we're heading into the late innings all tied up. And a standing ovation for the Rangers from the sellout crowd at Arlington Stadium. The big guns coming up. Molitor, Carter, and Olerud. It's tied at 6. The Toronto Blue Jays, the world champions of baseball, have blown what at one point was a 6-1 lead, and they blew the last 4 runs of it all at once there in the 6th inning. So now we start over 6-6 in the 7th, and the big guns are up. Molitor, Carter, and Olerud against Matt Whiteside. Ball 1. So Nolan Ryan, 5 innings, 6 runs, 6 hits allowed, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, leaves trailing 6-2, but is no longer the pitcher of record. Have a no decision tonight. And Guzman, he went 5 1/3, had that 6-1 lead, ends up giving up 5 runs and 5 hits with 6 walks and 7 strikeouts. But Joe, I guess we accent that walk total for Guzman. 3 of his walks became runs.
It's not just the walks, but when you pitch from behind, you give the hitters a better chance of putting the ball in play. They can be more aggressive when they know it's a 2-0 count or a 3-1 count. And that's exactly what the Toronto Blue Jays pitchers have done tonight. Timlin was the same way.
Now 3-1 to Molitor. Well, Timlin gave up the 3-run homer. Now he's chatting with his pitching coach, Galen Cisco, in the Toronto dugout. Timlin, 27 years of age. That's strike 2. Full count to Molitor. Molitor has fouled to first. He's homered down the left field line, and he has singled home a run, 2 for 3. Molitor hitting .323 for the year right at the moment. Out of play off to the right. 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Toronto. Carter and Molitor home runs. 6 runs, 6 hits for the Rangers. No errors. Reedus a home run. Gary Reedus, 36 years of age, hit his 88th career home run to tie up this ball game. Rangers signed him as a free agent before last year. That's ball 4. Craig Lefferts, the left-hander, and Mike Schooler, the right-hander, in the Texas bullpen. Texas bullpen's been much improved this year over last. And it's also been sort of a work in progress. Lefferts started the year as a starting pitcher for them. Well, here's Joe Carter, 6-6. Tell you what, the Blue Jays, they can play in a game like this with the best of them. I mean, they have the firepower to slug it out with you. Off the pitch, foul. Carter, a 3-run first inning homer, and then Ryan struck him out twice after that. Toronto averaging more than 5 runs a game. John Olerud on deck. The infield really around toward the third base side against Carter, except Palmeiro on the bag at first with Molitor. Molitor has excellent speed. Reedus. And now with the left-handed batting Olerud coming up, here comes Kevin Kennedy out of the Ranger dugout. He's got the left-hander Lefferts. And Joe, this is what you were talking about. I mean,
yeah, it's going to be very difficult to hit 400 simply because you'll face left-handed pitchers like Lefferts, who's in a hurry to get to you.
Hurry, Craig, come on now.
He wants to get there as quickly as he can.
A trademark at Craig Lefferts. He'll face Olerud when we get back. Here's the veteran reliever Craig Lefferts now with a runner at first and 1 out in the 7th inning, a tie ball game, to face the 400 hitter John Olerud.
Well, Craig Lefferts is very tough on left-handed hitters simply because he throws a fastball that tails in and a slider that goes away. Difficult to handle.
He's right.
And he has good control of his breaking ball. That was a good breaking ball there. And now he'll move him off the plate inside with a fastball, go away with a breaking ball. Very cagey left-hander.
Olerud 0 for 2 tonight with a walk and is hitting an even 400 right now. Inside. Lefferts wanted that one, I think.
Well, that was a purpose pitch, though. He wants to throw the fastball inside after he'd set him up with the breaking ball.
Big hole on the right side with Palmeiro on the bag. Second baseman Strange pulled over a little bit toward that hole. Chased it. That's exactly what he was doing.
He goes in with a fastball and then back out with the breaking ball. I mean, that's the way he pitches. And he uses all of his pitches well. Breaking ball off the plate outside.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Foul ball. Olerud has hit .315 against left-handed pitching this year, which I guess is not surprising. You have to hold your own against him if you're hitting 400. Sitting up around 435, though, against the right-handers. There goes Molitor, and they got him picked off. Diaz. And Diaz got taken out by Molitor there. Late slide by Molly.
Yeah, very late slide.
And he might have spiked Diaz. Strange right there with him. Danny Wheat, the Ranger trainer, out. It was one of those Ty Cobb slides there.
Well, he slid late, and he also slid off to the side on the shortstop side. I think Molitor was trying to get in line with the throw from the first baseman. I think he was trying to let him hit him in the back, so he was running on the inside. So he ends up sliding on the inside. See, he's running on the inside. There you see the slide. Now watch Diaz trying to tag him and get out of the way at the same time. I didn't see a lot of contact, but Diaz is yelling in pain there. Unless when Molitor came down, maybe that hurt his body. When he landed on his leg, he may have hurt his leg.
Yeah,
but I don't think the spikes did it.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's where you saw him react when he came down on him after.
And a lot of the Texas fans obviously unhappy. They thought that Molitor did it intentionally. I don't believe he did. Again, when you're picked off at first base, you try to run in the line that the first baseman is going to throw the ball to the shortstop. So he came to the inside hoping that the ball would hit him in the back. But since the ball did not hit him, he was already on that side. So when he slid, he was sliding late, and he made contact with Diaz. See Molitor trying to run on the inside so that the ball would have hit him in the back. It didn't, but he found himself already on the inside, and I think that's why the collision occurred.
Like he's dragging the left leg there. Ray Ramirez, the assistant Ranger trainer, is the trainer out. As Ramirez working with Diaz. The Rangers just did activate Manuel Lee, who was to be their regular shortstop this year, so he's available.
And actually, from a defensive standpoint, they like Lee better, but Diaz has been the better hitter.
Well, they're going to carry him off. Gino Petrali and Ray Ramirez, the assistant trainer. And Manuel Lee will come into the game, the former Blue Jay. As soon as we get a report as to the status of Mario Diaz, we'll pass it along to him. We hope the news is good, but that is not good that they're carrying him off the field like that. Mickey Hatcher comes over to help carry him down in now with Ramirez. And the fans, as you can hear, are very upset. Blue Jays must feel like they're back in Baltimore. That's Manuel Lee, former Blue Jay, became a free agent, signed with the Rangers. Paul Molitor. I think Joe has explained it. What Molitor was trying to do, he wasn't trying to hurt anybody.
No, you have a left-handed first baseman. His throw is going to be to the inside because he's left-handed. He can't throw any other way. So what he did was try to run inside and get hit in the back, and he didn't have the opportunity to do so. He caught himself on the inside, so when he slid late.
All right, the count to Olerud. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fans are in an angry mood now. Strike 3 call. Now the crowd was calling for somebody's head. They wanted retribution. Lefferts got it the old-fashioned way. He struck out his man. Palmeiro Gonzalez coming up. Sunday Night Baseball from Arlington Stadium, Texas. We started out with temperatures nearly at 100 degrees, and now it seems that the heat is just being turned on here in Texas. The crowd revived with the Rangers' sudden comeback to tie the ball game in the 6th. Now they're in an angry mood as well after their shortstop Diaz out with an injury, and what they perceived as dirty play by Molitor, but with the advantage of having Joe Morgan sitting here, we understand we're just Molitor not trying to hurt anybody, but trying to create an error and playing good, hard, clean baseball. Here is Palmeiro. The power is up for the Rangers against Timlin. Strike 1 to Palmeiro. Palmeiro, then Gonzalez, then Palmer. These 3 hitters have a combined total of 67 home runs. The Rangers lead it 7-6. Number 20 for Palmeiro.
Well, you have to give the Rangers a lot of credit. They have fought back from 6-1 to take a 7-6 lead. Left-handed hitters can always hit the fastball down and in. Now watch where this pitch is. Down and in. And all you have to do is lay the bat on it.
Down and in and then up and away.
Yeah, and you see Palmeiro gives it a little extra there while flipping the bat away.
Gee, how did he know? Now Gonzalez. And 2 of the last 3 Ranger hitters against Timlin have homered, and they've been long ones. Reedus to the deepest part of the ballpark, and now Palmeiro, a booming shot to straightaway right. Gonzalez glad to see Guzman out of the game. Struck out 3 straight times against him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, by the way, ordinarily, Cito Gaston might have gone to Danny Cox in that 6th inning. The veteran right-hander has done well in the bullpen, but Cox is hurting right now. He's got a muscle pull in his back. He was checked for yesterday. They were afraid maybe he had a stress fracture in his rib cage. They said, no, it's just a muscle pull, but he's going to be out. And is unavailable tonight. And might be back Tuesday, but it's a day-to-day situation with Danny Cox. So they've been going with Timlin, who ordinarily works in the ball games that are, 10-5 and not the tight ones.
Well, watching Juan Gonzalez tonight, I mean, the last 3 at-bats, he has not swung at a strike. He swung at 2 balls here, and he's down in the count 1 and 2. He struck out 3 times previously, all on bad pitches. Not very patient tonight. There's another one. All of them out of the strike zone. Every pitch he swung at in that at-bat was a sinker down and in, breaking ball off the plate away, and that one was away. So he is showing that he has not lost all of his impatience over the last year. Now watch, this pitch starts outside, way outside. He just can't even reach it. So far away.
It's the Sunday night baseball effect, I think.
Well, he's trying to put on a show, but he can't reach those breaking balls off the plate outside.
Ball 1 to Palmer. Walked and struck out twice. 7-6, the Rangers lead now. At one point, they trailed 6-1.
That's when you've got a lot going for you, when you can strike out 4 straight times and laugh about it. But being honest, you have to keep your head on straight. You have to be able to laugh at yourself in this game. It's impossible to always be on top. Baseball is very humbling. Doesn't matter how good you are, you will have some days where you wish you could do something else other than play baseball.
1-1 the count. Got a foul off the right field side. There is bullpen activity, by the way, for the Rangers down the right field line. We're in the 7th. There is Chris Carpenter, just recently acquired from the Florida Marlins. Veteran right-hander. Kevin Kennedy and his pitching coach, Claudio Steen, checking the charts. In fact, that wasn't Osteen. And his veteran coach, Jackie Moore. 2 down. And coming up tomorrow night at 7:30, the Yankees and the Tigers. Jimmy Key, Don Mattingly, Danny Chartable and company, and Cecil Fielder. Tied for the Major League lead in RBIs. The Detroit Tigers trying to get themselves straightened out. Big series for the Tigers, 4.5 out. The Yankees tied for first on ESPN tomorrow, 7:30, 4:30 Pacific. Shootout here is Petrali. Ball 1. 10 Rangers have struck out in this game. Guzman had 7. And Gonzalez and Palmer are 7 of those strikeouts, just the 2 of them. Petrali to Alomar for the out. But the Rangers have gone ahead of the Palmeiro home run. We're heading into the 8th inning now. And the bench still booing Paul Molitor. Fernandez, Sprague, and Borders due up.
The AL East race couldn't be any tighter. Don Mattingly and the Yankees face Central Fielder and the Tigers. Live tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Monday Night Baseball. Rookie of the Year candidate Mike Piazza faces MVP favorite Barry Bonds. The Dodgers battle the Giants in a fierce NL West rivalry. Live on ESPN Tuesday Night Baseball.
Pretty good comeback in Texas tonight, but Budweiser takes you to the big one of the day at Yankee Stadium. Pat Kelly up in the 9th inning, and he singles into left field. The Yankees come from 8-0 down to win 9-8, and they stay in lockstep 1 percentage point behind the Red Sox in the AL East. John?
There's the new pitcher for Texas, right-hander Chris Carpenter, longtime National Leaguer. Carpenter on in relief of Lefferts. He was most recently with the Florida Marlins.
And they've also brought in Pudge Rodriguez, John, to catch him.
And also a new center fielder, David Hulse, goes in to play center field. And Gary Reedus has moved from center field over to right field. So Peltier and Petrali are the two who are out of the ball game. So there is Chris Carpenter. He's a 28-year-old right-hander. Hitting it off for the Jays is Tony Fernandez, 0 for 2 with a walk. Carpenter had a 2.89 ERA for Florida, 37 in the 3rd innings, 29 hits allowed, 26 strikeouts, 13 walks. This is strange to Palmeiro, and Fernandez, he's 0 for 3. There's David Hulse, got a little hamstring problem now, loosening up out there in center field. He's an exciting young player. Gary Reedus moving from center field over to right field with Peltier leaving the game. And now the new catcher, Ivan Rodriguez, replacing Petrali. I'm not sure how the batting order will be rearranged here. Ed Sprague, the hitter, 7-6. The Rangers lead, 8th inning. Strike one. Carpenter, formerly with the Cardinals, he got into the big leagues in his very first year in pro ball out of the University of Georgia. His best year, 1991, he was 10-4, all out of the bullpen. That's a ball. We understand that Mario Diaz left the ball game with a bruised left knee, and no X-rays are even needed. That's very good news.
Yeah, well, we speculated a little bit that it was his left knee because Molitor hit his left knee with his knee.
Not a movement on that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sprague. Now the closer, the ace, not any longer of the Blue Jay bullpen, but the Rangers bullpen. Tom Henke is up.
And Henke has already saved 4 games against the Blue Jays this year.
Out of play. He was really shocked that the Blue Jays just did not want him any longer. He said, hey, they said that I'd be too expensive. He says, how do they know?
Right.
I kept telling him, I says, well, try me. Because he wanted to spend the rest of his career with Toronto. He loves the city. He loved the organization. How can you not love that city? It's a great city of Toronto. Check swing foul off to the right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Henke was, and it's not too far removed, really, even for this down and dirty game of baseball, to say he was heartbroken that the Blue Jays let him go. They said, well, we have Dwayne Ward. It's time for him to be the closer. We have to let him be the closer. And Henke says, well, I don't need to be the lone closer. Try me. But the Rangers picked him up. That was a big hole for them. And he has done for them what he's done for the Blue Jays for those, or did for the Blue Jays those many years.
Sometimes I think that loyalty has to work both ways.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times players leave and they're called disloyal, but a lot of times the players do not want to leave.
Henke definitely did not. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count to Ed Sprague. 1 out of the 8th inning. That's a foul down toward Henke in the bullpen.
I think the greatest example, as far as I'm concerned, of loyalty was Kirby Puckett in Minnesota. Kirby, no doubt, could have gone on the open market and could have maybe even gotten Barry Bonds money. But he wanted to stay in Minnesota, and they wanted him, so it was a great matchup there.
He definitely stayed for less than what he'd been offered elsewhere, Kirby Puckett. 1-2 the count to Sprague. Borders on deck. Got him swinging. 2 down in the 8th inning. 7-6 Rangers now right after the ball game. Stay tuned because SportsCenter will be coming your way with all of the highlights of the day in baseball and all the other goings-on in the world of sports. The Talladega 500 and a conversation with one of the newest NFL Hall of Famers, Walter Payton. Sweetness will go into the NFL Hall next Saturday. A half moon shining over Texas. So there's a called strike to Pat Borders. John Miller and Joe Morgan. We rode on in to Arlington Stadium. Sunday night's first telecast from Arlington. And of course, next year they'll no longer be playing in this ballpark. Pat Borders, 1 for 3. 1-1 the count. You know, you mentioned Tom Henke and loyalty, Joe. He marks as one of his greatest thrills in the game of baseball when he went in not too long ago into Toronto in a save situation and got a standing ovation from the crowd there. Strike 2. He said he didn't really know how they would react to him because here he was trying to come in and beat the Blue Jays. And yet, not only was it an ovation, but they stood. And he said it was difficult for him because he had to stay focused on the job at hand, but it was rather emotional. Carpenter running that ball into the hands of Pat Borders. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Blue Jays having blown a 6-1 advantage in this one. Trying to come back now. Just the other night they had a 5-run lead over the Rangers. Blew that lead, but then they came back and won it. Zito Gaston. What gives with this ball club right now? Chris Carpenter blows them away. 3 up and 3 down. 2 strikeouts. We go to the last of the 8th inning. 7-6. The Blue Jays trail the Rangers. Zito Gaston. He's a Texan from San Antonio. He grew up watching Texas League baseball with the old San Antonio Missions, but he did not like what he had to watch here in Texas tonight. Gary Reedus, a 3-run homer to tie the game in the 6th, and then Palmeiro, he knew where it was headed. Rafael with the game-breaking home run, perhaps. Not over yet. 7-6 the Rangers and the manager, Kevin Kennedy. And Joe, you can talk about, you know, hitting and running and all of the different things they've tried to get the Rangers to do. But tonight it came down to one thing, power.
Well, they're a power-hitting ball club, and as I said earlier, all they do really is rely on the home runs and extra base hits to score runs. Not a lot of speed on the ball club.
There's ball 1 to Doug Strange. He singled, grounded out, and walked and scored a run. Facing Timlin. Henke still up in the Toronto bullpen. 7-6 Texas. Molitor. He'll take it himself. And the crowd's still on him. 40,277 the paid crowd tonight at Arlington Stadium. And for this 4-game series, 155,000 paid admissions. That is an all-time Arlington Stadium record for a 4-game series. So fans here get a little case of pennant fever, I think. Can the Rangers stay in the race, though? They've had a history of falling out in the month of August.
You know, a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to play here year-round, though, in this heat. And I think it takes its toll on you usually about August. That's probably why they've fallen out of the race so often in August. Very difficult to play in the kind of stifling heat that they have here in Arlington.
Well, it was always one of the theories that come the heat of August, after playing through that heat all those months, the Rangers would will it. David Hulse is the hitter. Alomar. Out number 2. Hulse up for the first time. Exciting young center fielder, got excellent speed. Got a little hamstring problem. That's why he was not in the lineup tonight. 2 down. The scorecard now: 7 runs, 7 hits for the Rangers, 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Blue Jays. Palmeiro's solo homer in the 7th, putting the Rangers ahead. And Nolan Ryan, not very effective tonight. 5 innings, 6 runs, 6 hits, 5 walks, and 5 strikeouts. But then the Rangers came back and took him off the hook. Maybe they owed Nolan one anyway. Foul ball by Manuel Lee, the former Blue Jay. In fact, he was the Blue Jays shortstop. And the year they won the World Championship last year. Manuel started the year on the disabled list, came back, played only for a little while, then got injured again. Just activated. He's been out since May the 15th. So almost 2.5 months since last he played in a big league game. He told him he didn't want to go out on rehab assignment. He said he did that at the start of the year already. Didn't want to go down to the minor leagues this time. So they're going to bring him back at the big league level and just have him around for stuff like tonight. Come in late in the ball game, things like that. May take him a little while longer to get back in the lineup at that rate, though.
Well, they're not going to take Diaz out. Now he may go out, obviously, because he was injured, but they were going to keep him in and use Lee mainly for defensive purposes because they like the bat of Diaz.
Down on strikes, Manuel Lee. Last chance for the Blue Jays. Ward, White, and Alomar due up. Molitor fourth, Carter fifth. Olerud sixth. Henke coming into face. Texas trying to move back into second in the American League West, leading Toronto, trying to move back into a tie in the East. Toronto 6, Texas 7, and Tom Henke. And Joe, you can look back in Blue Jays history, and it was when Henke arrived at 85 late that year that the Blue Jays suddenly became a serious contender.
Well, look at his numbers there. Excellent numbers. 21 saves, of course, but the 42 and a 2/3 innings pitch, 33 hits, and he doesn't walk very many.
Now pitching for the Rangers, number
Henke has been particularly effective against the Blue Jays this year. You know, Henke came along in 85. The Blue Jays' one problem had always been that final closing work from the bullpen. They had signed Bill Cordell that year, but he had been ineffective. And finally, Henke was brought up late that season, and he led them to their first division title. And with Henke anchoring that bullpen, the Jays have been a contender ever since. Drag bunt by Ward. He's safe. A base hit for Turner Ward.
Good play by Ward to start off the inning. And an excellent bunt. When you drag the ball, normally you try to drag it to the second baseman. This is right down the line. You see Palmeiro grabbed it, dived for him, but a good slide by Ward. He dove outside the line, grabbed the bag with his left hand. Good play. And Henke avoids stepping on him. Good play there by Henke just to avoid injuring Ward.
Now here is Devon White. His walk grounded out, single home run, and popped to third. 1 for 3. Strike. Tom Henke's been at his best here lately. In his last 10 and a third innings, he has had 21 strikeouts. Devon White, the hitter, 7-6. This one is far from over. Top of this potent Blue Jay order coming up. Alomar on deck. Palmeiro on the bag at first with Ward. Ward stole a base earlier with Ryan on the mound. Hot foul out of play. White only 2 for 16 lifetime against Henke. Well, on Thursday night, the Blue Jays had a 7-3 lead. Blew the lead. The Rangers tied it, but then Olerud homered in the ninth, and they won it anyway, 8-7. Friday, the Rangers down 5-3 late in the ball game. Came back and won 6-5. Tonight they were down 6-1, and now they lead 7-6 in the ninth inning. Off the fifth foul.
And Cito Gaston is playing it, you know, like most managers. On the road, you play for the win. Home, you play for the tie. He did not have Devon White bunt in this situation.
The outfield over toward the left field line against White. That kind of scared him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, it's a good pitch to set up something going away, either a split finger or something, just a fastball away.
The new Blue Jay closer, and a good one, Dwayne Ward, begins Giants loosening up in the Toronto bullpen just in case. Boyd goes back. Now, Hinkie's over the years been a guy that people were able to steal against because he got kind of a slow delivery to the plate.
Well, he's changed his motion a little bit, John. Watch, he doesn't have the high leg kick anymore. He uses a little bit of a slide step, and in between slide step and a high kick, he just doesn't kick it as high. Not a true slide step, but he does not have the high leg kick anymore.
He's got one of the best throwing catchers in the business behind the plate right now, Ivan Rodriguez. Rangers can be a real tough team against which to steal when Rodriguez is back there. 1-2 to White. That is a fair ball. Ward will stop at second base as Gonzalez picks it up. He was positioned perfectly. He was right over near the foul line.
Yeah, I can't believe they were playing that close to the foul line with the left-handed hitter hitting, because that ball is right down the line, and normally that's extra bases. You see they're off the line at third base, but this ball is right down the line. See where Gonzalez started from. He was already close to the line, so he's able to hold everyone to one base. Good play there by Gonzalez, well positioned.
So now Alomar. Well, will Alomar be up there to bunt?
Well, it's a different situation now, because if you bunt, you still have an opportunity to win. So you may see a bunt from Alomar.
Got the right-handed hitting Molitor behind him.
Theory is if the first guy gets on and you bunt him over, you play for one run, that's normally all you will get.
Well, the Rangers are playing the bunt defense right now. Palmeiro very shallow at first. Palmer pulled in at third.
And they're trying to find out. Hinkie started into his stretch and then stepped off. He just wanted to see if Alomar would give it away.
Well, Hinkie's got all kinds of trouble now. Great hitters coming up. Nobody out. 2 men on. Bunted at it, foul. Strike one. Alomar has had 2 sacrifice bunts this year. This is the first time he has ever come to bat in a game against Tom Hinkie. Sports Center right after the ball game. Stay tuned.
Well, what Alomar will be doing if he continues to try to bunt is to make the third baseman Palmer field it, because obviously that leaves third base open for the runner to go in. You do not want to bunt it to first base, because Palmeiro is in on the grass and he would have a chance for a force out. And now Hinkie's going to go over and talk to Palmer, because they're giving a lot of signals and they don't know if the rotation play is on or not. He wants to make sure.
Meaning the shortstop would race over and cover third, and the third baseman could charge the plate.
Yeah, but the way they're positioning themselves, there's no way they can put any kind of play on. They're playing a standard play. All you have to do is look at your infielders and see where they're playing. There's no way the shortstop can get to third base from the position that he's in. He couldn't beat the runner. So it's a standard bunt situation.
Did he bunt at it? They appeal. No, says third base umpire Dave Phillips. 1 ball, 1 strike. They said he pulled back in time. Nick Leva runs through some signs.
If you're a hitter and you watch the middle infielders, you can always tell what they can do and what they can't do. Where the infielders play limits them to how far they can roam.
Molitor on deck, Carter after him, Olerud after him. Some of the best hitters in anybody's club, all all-stars. Swings away, and it's a high foul down the left field line. No, it's fair. It's a home run. It hit the foul pole.
You know, John, when he hit the ball, it wasn't curving. It looked like the ball stayed straight down the line because it was close to the line, and normally those balls will hook foul. But that ball just stayed right on the line in which he hit it. I think Alomar was surprised that it stayed fair.
It scraped off the foul pole. It landed in foul ground, but only after hitting the foul pole. A 3-run homer. The best bunt sign that Cito Gaston ever took off. 9-7 Toronto. There it is.
Well, the ball goes straight down the line, hits the foul pole, and Karam's in the foul territory.
Here's Molitor. But Tom Henke has given it up here. Only the 3rd home run he's allowed all year. And Alomar, with his 11th home run, already having beaten his previous career record. He'd never hit more than 9 homers in a season before. 9-7 Toronto. The crowd loves it. Rodriguez wants after Molitor, and he's being pushed away from Molitor by the plate umpire Riley. Carter started toward the plate. Many of the Blue Jays have come up out of the dugout. Rodriguez and Molitor getting into it.
Well, Rodriguez is telling him, don't talk to me. Henke threw the ball if you want.
Well, here comes Henke. Henke's coming to the plate now. And now being turned right back around by Dave Phillips.
That's a fastball, of course, from Henke, and it's right under the chin of Paul Molitor. He goes down, and Molitor obviously was very upset because he thinks it was intentional. And I'm sure that everyone on the Blue Jays side thinks it's intentional.
Manuel Lee. Molitor is out. And again, it's all rather unfortunate because from our reading of the replays and the way we saw the play at second, Molitor was not trying to. But certainly, when you saw it live, it looked like that he went in with the spikes on Mario Diaz.
Well,
and tried to take him out.
Well, I think you have to look at it a different way, too, John. Molitor has not been known to be a dirty player throughout his career, and I think that's what you have to look at. Players who play dirty, the players know that they're dirty, and they know who they are. But I think you see Cito Gaston go over talking to him. That has some meaning right there also.
0-2 to Joe Carter. He had a 3-run first-inning homer tonight. Since then, has struck out twice and flied to center. The Rangers trailing the Blue Jays again. 9-7, Alomar's 3-run homer. The Toronto bullpen, the closer, the man who succeeded Henke in that role, Dwayne Ward, is ready. The Rangers will have the top of their batting order up. Reedus, Franco, and Palmeiro. Gonzalez would be due up 4th in the inning if somebody gets aboard. House, a long run. 2 down. And one last chance for Olerud, who is 0 for 3 in this game. Well, all the best laid plans. Kennedy had it all laid out after he took the lead. He had Carpenter, his new setup man. That worked beautifully in the 8th inning. And then he handed the ball to Henke, who's been so strong this year. Henke's final chance against the Jays, at least in the regular season. And tonight, Toronto gets him. Olerud, and he's got a base hit. So Olerud, who came into the game hitting .402, is 1 for 4.
That should get him back to 400.
Yeah, 401. So Olerud will finish the night, at least if this game ends here in the 9th inning, at 401. 1 for 4 plus a walk for Olerud. I think he almost got that one. They keep that dirt in front of the plate real soft. Here is Fernandez. Left field. Gonzalez back. That's the inning. 3 runs for the world champion Blue Jays. Ward will come on now and try and nail it down against the top of the Ranger batting order. Well, we've seen the former Blue Jay closer, Tom Henke. Now we see the current closer, Dwayne Ward. And this hard thrower with 25 saves, a 1.98 ERA. And Joe, 41 innings and 57 strikeouts, only 12 walks.
25 hits. Look at that.
Yeah, he's tough.
And he has the 25 saves. He's been in 2 more games. Kind of interesting. Henke had 21 saves in 39 games, and he has 25 in 41.
Tom Henke. One of those rare nights tonight. The Blue Jays leading 9-7. Gary Reedus will lead it off. And there's George W. Bush, one of the owners of the Texas Rangers, managing general partner. He likes to sit right out by the field next to the dugout.
Well, he's not very happy now going into the 9th inning. He had to be comfortable with the lead and Henke on the mound.
Ward faced 2 hitters last night in getting a save and struck them both out. He has struck out the last 6 hitters he's faced so far. Ball 1. And Ward wonders where that one was.
I would be wondering also if I was Ward.
In Toronto, they kind of refer to him affectionately as Wardo. And when it's time for Wardo, Blue Jay fans usually feel pretty confident. The Rangers had to feel pretty confident with Henke coming in. The Rangers, after 8 innings this year, when they've been ahead before tonight, their record was 45 wins and 1 loss. They'd only blown 1 9th inning lead the whole year and lost the game. Right to Sprague. 1 away. Reedus, who had the heroic 3-run 6th inning homer to tie the game, is retired this time. Now Julio Franco, 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Rangers need a base runner with the power coming up. Palmeiro on deck. Gonzalez after him. 9 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for Toronto. 7 runs, 7 hits for the Rangers. There have been 5 homers in the game. Strike. Carter a 3-run shot. Molitor a solo. Alomar a 3-run shot for Toronto. Reedus a 3-run homer, and Palmeiro a solo for Texas. Ward's got a great slider and also a great split-fingered pitch. And throws about 180 miles an hour, I think. 0-2 the count. One and 2. Well, a wild ball game here, and then Roberto Alomar with what could be the game-winning home run, which you'll see again on SportsCenter, which follows. That scraped off the foul side of the foul pole. I mean, that's inches for being a foul ball.
Well, baseball has always been known as a game of inches.
And Franco is down on strikes. 2 down. Last chance. Rafael Palmeiro is coming up. He has a single and a home run. His home run put the Rangers ahead in the 7th inning. The Rangers hit the road after this game. Texas has a doubleheader in Kansas City tomorrow night. The Royals will move ahead of them into 2nd place if the Rangers, well, they will remain ahead of them in 2nd place if the Rangers lose this ball game. Ball 1. Last chance for the Rangers here. They need Palmeiro to get aboard and let Juan Gonzalez take his chances at tying the game. 9-7 Toronto. Deep into center field. Devon White is under this one, and the ball game is over. The Toronto Blue Jays remain in a 3-way tie for first in the American League East. They blew a big lead, and then finally they came from behind, courtesy of Roberto Alomar, and they won it anyway, 9-7. Timlin the winner, Ward the save, and Henke was the loser. And the Rangers fall into 3rd place in the West. Next Sunday, we'll see the Rangers again in Oakland. The Gonzalez and company will take on Sierra, Ricky Henderson, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, 7 Central. We'll see you then. Stay tuned now. SportsCenter will follow. The Toronto Blue Jays defeating the Texas Rangers 9-7. It was not a good night for Nolan Ryan. He got lit up, but for Ryan and the Rangers, a wild night that ultimately ends up in a disappointing loss on the Alomar home run. 9-7, the world champion Blue Jays are winner. Now from Texas, this is John Miller for Joe Morgan saying, hello, everybody. It hurts so bad to say goodbye.